don't. I have the time to clean it. French press. I
Right.
love the French press, but I mainly use my French press for tea, and I kind of don't want to mix those two flavors together.
Word.
And
So
then
it seems
yeah,
like the show this is a stacked show. Like it's stacked this week. I gotta get my water ready because I know I'm gonna be doing some reading in some of the sections. This week is stacked.
is this the
And I,
makeup for making me talk by myself for almost 3 hours?
it might be since I haven't talked to you in like forever. I might as well catch up with you.
Yeah, last week was kind of crazy.
I
But
think you did
we
great.
can we can just start off and just go into the show right now.
Oh, we're good?
Yeah, I think we are. I mean, you feel like you need to do more?
I'm
Do you
good.
need more
You
time?
good? I'm good. You good?
I'm good.
All right, cool. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Show Radio. It's episode 398 of the Show Radio. I'm your host, Andrew,
Hey guys, I'm Danny.
and this is your source for tech, gaming, and entertainment news. Head over to theshowradio.info. Once again, that's theshowradio.info and check out our past shows. While you're there, subscribe and tell a friend about the show. Daniela, what is up? Yo,
Mm.
yo.
Well, the weather's definitely better than it was last week Sunday. I feel like
Okay.
it's such a terrible like Kauai resident because okay, so the power went out obviously during the show and it took some time, and
Word.
I could even use my mobile data, the 16 gigs that I used,
Right.
to even get back into chat to let anybody know. Like I had a hard time just like even opening up Twitter, so like a lot of things went down. Power went out. It was out island wide. And I figured it's like, oh, it's because it's bad weather. Ugh, bad weather.
Hey,
Not
yo.
knowing that a third of our island was underwater.
Right, right, right.
I was like, well, that's completely inconsiderate of me. Because it rains like that normally. It really does. But I didn't realize how hard it was raining, I guess, on the north shore of our island.
Right.
And it was raining like that from Friday night. So, and it didn't stop. And it just ended up, we have sinkholes. We had part of our roads washed away. There's this
What?
pier. Yeah, there's this pier. It's called Honolulu Pier. And it has this nice long walkway that I want to say it's about 50, 60 feet long, and then it opens up into this dock that like a lot of people like to dive and jump off of. And usually around that area, around that dock, the water is maybe about 6 feet deep, and it's going out into the ocean here. Well, it was a very strange sight that I've never ever seen, and I don't think anybody else have seen, where there was no water around that dock whatsoever.
Wow.
The ocean water receded past that, and it was a good maybe 20 feet even past that dock before there was any ocean water. I've never seen it so empty. And
Mm.
like the flooding that happened in there was there's a couple photos where there's several pickup trucks that were half buried. Like there's one photo. The truck was on its side and half buried into the sand. So it was pretty bad, and it was typical of like one of our normal rain storms.
Yeah, yeah. Typical.
Eh. Yeah, it is because Kauai is home to one of the wettest spots in the world,
Mm.
which is Mount Waialeale. So we get a lot of rain. But that was a bit intense, and people were trapped um, in several different places. So I have a friend who's in the air guards, and another friend in the coast guard. So they were called to action to do rescues, search and rescues. Because of the roads being washed away, a lot of people were abandoned and stranded. There's people that are camping out that had no way of getting back in because there's some beaches that you have to hike to. So it was kind of pretty crazy. I mean, I'm in a safe area. I am very, very particular about places I choose to live because of those reasons. So I don't live in tsunami areas. I don't live in flooding areas. I live in nice, high, elevated areas I don't have to worry about.
Right, right, right. That's
But
crazy.
yeah, it is. But the
Crazy.
thing that I find absolutely beautiful about this, so um since this wasn't like your typical storms, I was a little bit upset about it because you didn't hear about it in mainland news. Like nobody in the mainland really knew that Kauai or Hawaii was really going through that. And you kind of see it when it happened in Texas, when it happened in Florida. Um, you have those disaster reliefs like goes immediately into action because this is just a normal storm. It was like a hurricane. It wasn't tsunami, anything like that. Nobody knew, but it
Mm.
was very, very quick. By Sunday, there are several different spots that already were overflowing with donations of perishables, clothes. There were several people who lost their homes, or
Wow.
like the land, their foundation under them was literally washed away and their house collapsed. And so you had people already donating so many things. I think the last time I checked, at least on that day initially, there was a relief fund that one of the local charities put together. It already had 30,000. Immediately hit their goal that Sunday, and then come Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it was Tuesday, it was already up to $60,000. So it was very, very quick. And then the other islands, they were very quick to put together collection places so people from the other islands could donate and buy.
You have links that you can share that in relation to those spots, and then we'll add them in the show notes, kind of thing.
I have to go and hunt them down because a lot of them were actually pulled together by local people first because a lot of these agencies didn't even know about it.
Okay.
So I have to go and look. But I think a lot of it, I thought it was awesome because I know my friend in Oahu, since she's originally from here, she was very quick to start calling around in Oahu, and she found somebody that was willing to let up their, like, allow a 20-foot Matson container on their lot so people can fill it up. And I think it was shipped over and it was received yesterday. So I think that was very, very quick. And then I don't think anybody of my family or friends in the mainland realized that we were doing like any of this was happening until Wednesday when they
Right, right,
like
right.
texted me. It's like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, well, you're a little bit like 3 days late, but yeah, sure, I'm fine.
Right. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I don't have anything to
That's
complain about. My house is, I just have to do my yard. It's flooded.
word.
That's a little bit. That's kind of it.
Word. That's crazy. So last week, episode 397 took place, and it was helmed by Miss DJM, the superstar. That's what I'm talking about. That's right. That's right. Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. How'd you feel? And I said, you know what, you got to do it this week. I'm not going to be there. Talk me through that and your process of getting to the place where you're like, you know what, it's time. I'm going to rock this out because I miss DJM. So take me through that.
I don't know. I was nervous. I was. I think you can obviously tell I was because I was talking really, really, really fast. My heart was racing. And then eventually, I think I found my groove and I was like, okay, we're we're going to go and we're going to do this and it'll be okay.
Now,
I
did
was
you
still
find it
like,
difficult?
um, little bit
Because
because, well, as far as like on my side, I have that little bit of buffer when you're talking, so I can set up like I can see, oh, we have this coming up, so I can have it like already preset and ready to go. We're trying to actively do that while talking and reading several different things. I was like, okay, I'm just take this one step at a time. We're gonna be a little bit slow here, but we're still gonna do it.
so what change did you realize that you needed to make besides the screen scene changes, inside of like yourself? Like, what changes did you find yourself making real time because you knew you had to record like solo?
Learning to breathe. I think I realized that there's a certain degree that I depend on you for some things, because I don't really know how to transition from one topic to another, because I realized I talked about everything.
Which was great.
Oh my goodness. And I realized on some topics maybe I I realized I had more to say than I thought I did. And if I when I stopped overthinking about what was coming up next or what I wanted to say, I just like, okay, rather than having some pre-structured mindset about, key things I would talk about, let's just talk from the heart and just like go with that.
Word.
So, but it was fun though.
No,
Once
you
I
did
got
good.
past that nervous point, then I was fine. It was
Yeah,
okay.
because we're just talking here, right? We're just
Mm.
talking. It's all good. We're just sharing information that we think people care about, that we care about, and we hope that they care about. So we're just talking, and I think that it obviously takes a while to get to a place where I think you did way better than I did, way better. When I first realized that this was like a thing, I think for me it took about 80 episodes. So for you to rock it out the way you did, I think it was amazing, and it was great to watch. So yeah, you did your thing. I'm so happy. It was amazing.
Yay.
It was amazing. All right, so
Doesn't mean
next
that
thing
you
that
can
happened,
disappear, Doesn't mean you can be like, oh, you know
absolutely,
what, I'm good to go.
absolutely, it
No,
means
it
I could
doesn't.
disappear.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
Whatever. No.
well, yeah, why not? It absolutely means I could disappear now. I was confident to disappear before. Now, I mean, hey, we could do this thing whenever you're ready again.
Gosh.
But we'll definitely figure it out. So another thing happened while we were okay. So the I guess just to set up a little story with this, I recorded an episode with an amazing guy, and that episode is in the ether somewhere. It's lost. So I'm trying to figure out how to get this episode back. And one of the things that I realized that I was not doing, and it was a wake up call for me, is to make sure that I have a backup recording locally as we're doing it. So even now, I'm using OBS to record this conversation. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to sound with the levels or anything like that, but I'm actually doing that. And I wish that I did that with the last bonus episode that I lost. It was a great conversation. It was about public relations. It was about relationships versus numbers. I mean, it was amazing to the point where I put a ticket with the company that I was using to record the conversation, and I have a ticket open to figure out if there's any way for us to, get that conversation retrieved somehow so I could share it with our people, right? Nothing yet. That's still a work in progress. So with that loss, within the same time frame with that loss, I got an email from Twitch. Daniela, what do you think that email said?
You're doing a good job. Here's a sticker.
It's a sticker, 5 stars. I got the 5 star sticker from Twitch, and it had something about this affiliate program that they had. And finally, we are Twitch affiliates for the show Radio Live. I'm so excited, Daniela. I'm excited. I'm really hyped. So let's talk through that whole experience. So, did you expect it to happen this early? Did you expect it to happen in June? Um, Even though we have an irregular schedule right now to some degree, our games sometimes we do the show pretty steadily. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts about all that.
I I had no doubts that we would get it eventually. I didn't give us like a time frame. I don't want to focus on like trying to drill it out and take away from that. If there's going to be a surprise, there's going to be a surprise. And I think that's great. So I'm super excited. I knew we were bound to get it. Inconsistencies and all, we were bound to get it. So
It felt
I was
close.
happy.
I just didn't know how close it was. Because I was looking at the averages, I was looking at the numbers, and Try, we talk on a regular basis. That's my bro. So we're talking about it. He was wondering when it was going to happen. He was wondering if I was doing the right things. I'm like, bro, I'm doing the right things. I'm streaming. sometimes people come in, sometimes people don't, and that's the nature of the streaming thing, right? We can't necessarily control that, but I definitely want to say for all the individuals who hung out, including Try, including you, Daniela, all the individuals who played a part in hanging out in the chat, just being there with us, whether we were streaming a game or we were streaming the actual show. Everybody deserves a congratulations on that. Not just us. We're just happen to be the channel that you guys are hanging out on, and it means a lot to us. And just thinking about it in that way, it was crazy. It's a crazy ride, and it's only the beginning. I know that, and I know you know that, Daniela, because your channel is very established, and you've been experienced. You're highly experienced in the Twitch experience more than I am. I'm fairly new to that. So yeah, there's just some thoughts there.
Now we just have to pick emotes. That's like my
Yeah,
favorite
so
part,
you got
which I don't
all
know.
that. You got to teach me all that. I don't know. Like even now, like just be fully transparent. I'm still learning how Discord works. How to set up the right channels. Like if I wanted to set up a channel where we can invite, and might as well call this a meeting to some degree, where we can invite individuals on while we're recording and we can hear them and answer their questions. I want to get to a point where we can do something like that. I don't know. And if is the video still going to be up while we're doing that? Like if can we still see each other while we're bringing somebody in the conversation to just answer their questions about your experience with streaming or my experience with podcasting or whatever the case might be. Like I want to get to a point where we're adding value with the information we share, and then we do the blog post later. That's great. And I was just thinking about this today, so that's why it's fresh. But I want to bring in other individuals in the conversation as they as we grow the channel and we grow the community, where people can come in and be like, hey, I feel comfortable enough to ask you guys a question about this thing that I've been thinking about. Can you help me, dissect what that looks like, what equipment to use, why start this way, why start that way? Like and when we really think about it, we've been streaming through the console for a long time. We just run the show, with the video production stuff that you do, but most of the streaming was done through console. So the conversation about you need this great super PC with all this different stuff on it to be consistent just on the streaming side of it, that argument should go away, because we don't have a super PC doing a whole bunch of streaming outside of Daniela's machine.
And mine
Everything else is
isn't
a
that
console.
super.
And outside of that, it's a console. But yeah, so just random thoughts like that. I was thinking about that. And other ways that we can continue adding value to individuals to make sure that we're answering questions that we can answer, whether we do it via email, whether we do it real time. And as we're doing it real time, we can say we don't know or we do know, and then we'll answer it that way. So I was just thinking about that stuff today. And I'm excited about it. If we can get to a place where Discord, we set up the Discord, dope enough, as I understand it better, where those things are easier to, manage and execute.
Yeah, it's always to continue growing. I think that's just my personal belief in life, period, is it's nice to hit those milestones and feel good about them, but don't ever just stop there. If
Yeah.
you feel even just the smallest improvements, the smallest changes, it's growth and you should feel good about it. So yeah, it's on the Discord front of things, I mean, I think I've been slacking on that personally myself too. There's always something new, and I haven't, like, I want to pay attention more to the changes that Discord has been making, because
Right.
there has been some, and there's always bots, and there's always new bots that are coming about that are offering all these different services, I guess you could say, or features would be a
Right.
better word, on helping you manage. And
Right.
I've definitely been a bit behind on that, because there's some that I think are just really great. I just have to look into it. It just takes time, really,
Yeah.
and
No,
just
I
sifting
mean,
through.
we can definitely look into those things together. So it's not we're gonna distribute that weight, however we need to distribute it. But I definitely want to focus on that. Like even by way of an example, one of the things that you mentioned is there's a bot that records audio in Discord, right? Which I can add in the show notes. As a matter of fact, so I don't forget, I'm gonna do that right now. Hold on, where's that? It's gonna fall under. technology, and it's not even here. So we're just adding this on the fly. Discord bot audio recording. And that's what it does, right? We haven't used it yet. It's in the channel right now, distrawradio.info/Discord, if you want to hit that. And it's something that I want to check out to see exactly how it works. Even though we're doing the OBS thing, I should be very specific. I'm doing the OBS thing on my side to see what that recording sounds like after we're done. But I definitely wanted to really dig into how Discord works. Are we providing the best experience for our community? And I will take the full responsibility and say, I don't think I've learned all the things I need to learn about Discord to make it as effective as it could be. That's on me. I'll take that. And that's where I'm at with it. There's things I know I need to learn, you know, permissions and all that stuff. But yeah, we can talk on and on about Discord. But what are you thinking about?
There's a lot.
There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on right now, but we need to work through that, and I know we will. Okay, so next thing that happened is you know, I'm building a great cadence to slide into people's DMs. I just am, and it's really fun, to the point where there's one opportunity that came up because of me sliding into DMs. And then there's another one where it deals with E3, and we'll talk about that another time. But sliding into DMs is an amazing thing. There's ups and downs about it, though. There's ups and downs about it. There's the you get a short reply that has nothing to do with what you're talking about, emoji or whatever. You get some context of what's happening, but it doesn't really feel like there's an exchange there. Or, right, something happens and you get packages sent to you. Daniela, talk to me. What happened, Daniela?
Well, all I know is that I'm good on coffee for a few months.
That's great.
So King's Coast Coffee has been incredibly nice and generous to us to send us a very nice package of their coffees. And I have to say, my PO box is smelling really, really nice because it's really strong. The scent is really strong, but it's not overwhelming at the same time. It's just
Right.
nice. But
Right.
at the same time, I've never had to grind my own coffee. So that's definitely a different experience. I went and bought one. I don't know what's a good coffee grinder, so if anybody has any good suggestions, let me know. I ended up just going to Macy's. They had some like 2-day sale, and they had a couple like sales stacked on top of it. So I ended up getting, I guess it's Cuisinart. It was like $17, but it's really simple, really basic. I kind of am debating on going back because they had a model that was above it. Because I was looking at this one, like you grind it, but then the cup that you pour it into doesn't come out. Like, so I guess you have to pour out, like tilt the whole thing over to get the grinds out. I don't know. It's gonna be a learning experience for me. But the one model above it is that the cup comes separate off of the base stand. And I'm like, well, that's really nice and convenient. I don't know. I'm just starting to, I'm just going to be one of those coffee snobs soon.
Very, very soon. Very soon. So definitely check them out. King's Coast Coffee. That's kingscoastcoffee.com. They send us a lot of love. I really enjoying that grind of humbling myself to slide in DMs and ask for opportunity and collaborations and stuff like that. And I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. To the point where I have a little system, and I'll share it with you because that's what we do here, is I'll copy and paste the first template of that conversation, right? So, for example, let me see if I can go to it right now as I'm looking at my phone, real time. So, for example, I slid into the DMs, right? Let me go to this. Hey, name redacted. My co-host and I love coffee, and we heard about your brand. I wanted to see if you have any collab to promo your coffee and also try it out. I'm in NY, she is in Hawaii. Is that a feasible collab you'd consider? God bless. That was it. That was it. That's it. Okay. So then you go back and forth with if it's feasible, yes. If it isn't, yes, we're working on something. We're going to hit you up at a later time. Cool. Thanks. Keep rocking and being awesome. Peace. Stay on that grind. Right? Replies like that. And then you never know. You may get appointments at different, locations, maybe, collaboration at events, or you can get free stuff sent to you because you asked. And what's interesting about that whole discourse, even sliding into the DMs, the guy, shout outs to Professor Broman, who hooked us up, right? Said it'd be great if more people did that because they think I'm just kidding when I say slide into my DMs and I actually answer the DMs. I'm like, I don't know why people don't do it. I just took up what you said. I took you verbatim and I did it. And he was like, I wish more people did that. So there you go. You never know what can happen if you slide in the DMs. Just do it. Just do it.
It's very straightforward.
Word. That's it. That's what I did. And you can do it too. So anything else before we go to technology?
No.
I got stories. So my car, the truck, the Acura MDX, had an issue. The battery would drain and we had no reason to connect why it was doing that. And so we're trying to figure out why the battery is draining. Why do we have to keep starting it? Why do we have to jump it? What was the issue? We can figure it out. So a while ago, I was reading an article. It says, well, the Bluetooth receiver in that car, whether it's I'm going to give years, 2005, 2006, 2007, that body style of the Acura MDX, if you have one, please listen carefully. If your battery is draining, is because the Bluetooth receiver in that car stays on when the car is off. So if you've gone through like 2 or 3 different types of batteries, whatever, thinking it's the actual battery, it may not even be the battery. It may be the Bluetooth receiver. So basically, call AAA, be like, yo, AAA, what up? I need a jump. The car's in my driveway. Can you please come through? And they're like, yeah, we come through, hook you up. And I said, you know what? This time, can you please give me like a battery, testing thing? Whatever you do, is that part of the service? Yes, it's part of the service. Cool. I'll come through and do that for me. So the guy checked it. He allowed me to take pictures of the screens, as far as the battery. He says your alternator is good because it's putting out 14 volts or whatever. So that's great. Don't worry about that. The battery may have an issue. It may not be holding a charge. Then he shuts everything off and he goes, well, something is still eating off of the battery right now. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't know. I said, I heard the Bluetooth receiver was an issue. And he said, well, maybe you should look into, trying to disconnect it or removing it. I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. So I went to Google, right? Google. And I said, battery draining Acura MDX 2007 Bluetooth receiver, So the results came up. And then the guy said, okay, this is how you do it. Go to the center console, sit in the back seat, pull the center console towards you. It will reveal this little hard drive looking thing, which is the battery, the Bluetooth receiver. Unplug it, push it back, and you're good to go. Charge your bat. I haven't had an issue ever since. It's been like starting like better than it was starting before. So that's the problem solved on that.
So you just can't use the Bluetooth at all then? Just completely disable it?
Yeah. So the thing with that, I was using the auxiliary line anyway to plug into my phone. So we didn't use the hands-free capability in the car.
So it's like automatically enabled no matter what.
Right. And it was draining the battery. And that body style has that issue. So you either unplug it, because it looks like a little hard drive. You either unplug it and just leave it there. It's held by 3 Phillips screws. You either unplug it or you unplug it and then remove the whole thing. Up to you. I just unplugged it. because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to replace it or not because I don't use it anyway. So I'm like, it could just sit there unplugged. It didn't set off. Okay, so the other question, as I'm thinking about it, it didn't set off any lights. It didn't set off any triggers. It actually, all the all the errors that I was getting on the screen automatically went away once I did that,
Hmm.
which was very interesting. So, Acura MDX 2007 battery drain, Bluetooth receiver, unplug it, mid console, pull it towards you while sitting in the back seat. Take care of that.
Yeah, my car doesn't have Bluetooth. I'm not that fancy.
Oh
Actually,
man,
okay,
so
no. My car model, my Nissan doesn't have that, and I don't know. I guess I never really thought about wanting it. Like I know when I go
word
and travel, I get a car that has the Bluetooth because most of the time, the only reason I mainly need that Bluetooth is just
right,
for navigation that I
right,
use like on my phone. That's like the biggest reason.
yeah.
Other
So
than
so
that,
my yeah, so my other concern was, should I do it in my car? Should I even upgrade the audio equipment in my car? Because I know for a fact that once the car is off, it's completely off and I don't have to worry about anything being on in my car. But the truck, I was theorizing, if you will, that whole Bluetooth thing, even though I heard about it, but I never really took action on where it was and how to get it disconnected or whatever. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just update the auxiliary in my car because I don't have one. So update that only, but don't update like a Bluetooth, you know, special head unit thing. Just leave it the way it is and just upgrade to have the auxiliary only and then just rock out like that because that works for me. So whatever.
they do have the auxiliary, like if you don't have Bluetooth in your car, they do have the auxiliary plugins that are
Right.
Bluetooth if you really need it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay away from that. I think I'm gonna stay away from that because I know if I take off the radio, if I take the radio out of the car and I connect the plug that they have for the auxiliary, it's like $30. So I'm thinking about doing that as a solution since I'd rather hear the car sound anyway more than anything else. So I think I may just have to do that as a solution instead. We'll see. So that's what's going on with that. So what's going on with that? A couple of things that we did see: top 5 cameras in 2018. Samsung is in that list. And what I did notice is a lot of the tech reviewers in the YouTube world are switching from the Pixel to the Galaxy S9 because that's what they're doing because they realize that the thing is dope. Any comments on that?
Samsung has a couple phones in there too because they had the S9 and they had what is it, the Note 8 in
Word,
there. I'm still jealous of
word.
yours. I'm gonna have to hold off.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it soon, I'm sure.
Eventually, I'll probably get the next iteration of it probably next year. I get
Well, you have
this.
something I don't have right now.
What is that?
God of
Unlimited
War.
data? Oh.
Oh, oh, man. Okay. So that's what's going on with that. Bluetooth volume control. It's an app for your phone, Bluetooth volume control, and you can find it in the Google Play Store. Definitely look for that. Also, I did see a thing that talks about learning basic JavaScript called Grasshopper. That's by Google. One of Google's small teams, they decided to do that for the individuals who want to learn how to code. Any comments on that?
I want to look into that, the grasshopper. I kind of been on this binge where I I know I've been slacking on learning something that's useful. I'm really
Right.
quick on picking up stuff and learning stuff that isn't really super useful at all. But I think lately there's this, what is it? There's this game that I've started playing. It's an older title called Human Resource Machine, and it does not have anything to do with human resources. But
So why is it called that?
it's because
Interesting.
you play you work in this company and or this theoretical company. But the whole idea of the game is to teach you, I guess, almost the basic foundation about how to approach and start thinking in a programming manner. It doesn't teach you a language,
Got
but
it.
it teaches you how to change your flow of thinking on how certain operations should be done.
Okay.
And it gives you like really simple basic tools and like here, I want this to happen. These are your options how to make it happen. And every level has you're either going to sometimes they're the same solution and sometimes it's a different solution. But the first objective is how can you accomplish this with the least amount of steps, and the other one is the least amount of commands.
Hmm.
And again, it doesn't teach you a specific language as it is just trying to train your brain to figure out how to approach a problem and work to that solution.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I just wanted to jump in and start doing that and learning something and learning a programming language. That's definitely been something I've always wanted to do. Like in college, it was just only a basic requirement to learn basic JavaScript. It wasn't anything uh, super in depth because I didn't go into the computer science field. So
Do you
I
still
think I
want
would.
to? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
it
do.
sound you said you do, but like, how much into it do you want to go? I guess that's the actual question.
I don't know. I just kind of want to see what language, like right now, I'm just trying to figure out what language would be great for me to dive into that I can pick up. Like I seem to be picking up a little bit better than the other. I don't know what that is yet. I haven't tried them all out yet. Um, but anything that I can learn and just get into that, I would love. And it's not even just that. Like I've been trying to have my son also learn programming because I feel that in the future, a very very near future, that is definitely a field that is lacking
Absolutely.
um, employees. It's definitely a field that's lacking. My goddaughters, who are 3 and soon to be 6, they've been they've been tossed into learning programming. There's a lot of very visual games and interactions to teach children programming, even at that language or the language age. So
Right.
um, for me personally, it's not only just to have it as something to learn new and to add to my career base and experience, but I think it's just overall great to have your brain learning something new and you're not staying stagnant. Even if it's not programming, anything. Like I even want to learn woodworking and that has nothing to do with anything, but it's a great skill. It's a great tool to have.
Word. No, it's really dope. That's definitely dope. And which one would you, I guess, execute first on? And as you're thinking about it,
As far as languages,
languages, woodworking, are you maybe car drifting if you're considering going back to that, or what are you thinking about?
well, say car drifting I think isn't necessarily it's a fun skill, but I don't think it's a very useful one. Unless like, I wanted to grow up to be a robber or something. I don't know. I
What about
don't
driving
know.
safe? It teaches you how to drive really, really well. That though.
I don't okay, as far as languages still, that's something that I'm still exploring about what might be the most useful. I know JavaScript, but I think it's probably my safest bet right now to start off as far as building a foundation there and then building off of that. I don't know what is currently the most used language.
Right.
So
Fair enough.
I just like
That's dope
learning.
stuff. Yeah, that's definitely dope stuff. Okay, so you have that. Okay, so this was interesting to see. Windows Defender and the Chrome browser.
I guess. Yeah. People need it
Would
apparently.
you want to do that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not for
I just,
me.
I just thought that was weird.
Okay, so
I don't know.
Chrome already has a good way of protecting you from malware. That's why a lot of people started switching to Chrome. But Windows Defender Chrome extension is better. Apparently, the Windows Defender Chrome extension is 99% effective against phishing attacks.
About all that.
I don't mind having stats and statistics, but when something says 99% more efficient, like I have a hard time believing that on anything. This isn't just because it's Microsoft. It could be anybody else's name attached to that. When it says it's 99% more efficient, I'm like, for now maybe, but people who develop these malwares, these phishing techniques, they just adapt and they adjust. It's not to say that you shouldn't do your best at it,
Right.
but I feel like it's more believable if you told me it's 60% better than this. I don't, for some reason, that sounds more realistic and probable than you telling me 99%.
Right. 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 It was just weird seeing that. So it was weird seeing that. What else? What else did we see? Flickr to be acquired by uh, Smug Mug. That's
Yeah, I've
happening.
heard of it.
So you have that. Alexa blueprints. New Alexa skill blueprints allow you to create your own personalized Alexa skills, even if you don't know how to code. Any comments on that?
That's interesting. I don't know. I
Okay.
said, going on through that whole programming thing, I love learning about that. I want to see what it is. I'm assuming that there's I didn't get check it out yet, but I kind of assuming there's almost a basic template um that they can look and you can start from there and adjust and change. I think everybody's home's gonna have some sort of smart device like that. And not,
Right, Daniela.
yes.
Right.
And then maybe one day when I accept my, Skynet as my overlords, maybe one day. Right now I can
Right.
hold
Right.
off on
Right.
that.
You can hold off.
Yeah.
You holding out hope. That's cool. But yeah, so Alexa is a thing. Definitely for us, the showradio.info/Alexa. You can get our Alexa skill there. Just say, hey, Alexa, enable the show radio podcast, and that will get that done for you. Yeah, so you have that. So a lot of security stuff happening lately. Just my mind is just focused on that to make sure the tools that we're using, whether it's personal, whether it's for the show or whatever, that we have the best tools enabled for us because they're available. Are they enabled for us? So another thing that I've been checking out, which this site has been around for a little bit, it's EFF.org. So EFF.org, they have some cool tools on their website, and I definitely want to talk about that for a sec as I pull up the thing here. So one of the things that if you weren't aware of, the EFF people have the privacy badger thing. That's them. HTTPS anywhere. They're responsible for that. Goodness. Cert bot. That's another thing that they have on their website. And one of the things I really checked also is panoptic click. So basically, what that does, you go to the website, and then it checks if your browser is meeting the standards of privacy, do not tracking, and stuff like that. So all that is going to be in the show notes. That link to the page for their tools also available there. There's a resource for a surveillance self-defense as well as security education companion. All that stuff is available on EFF.org. Any comments on that, Daniela?
No, no.
Nothing there. Yeah, love those guys and gals over there doing their thing. Okay, we talked about the Discord bot audio record earlier. Brave browser impressions. I'll let Daniela talk about that.
Yeah, so when you first brought that to my attention, and I think it was like 2 or 3 shows ago, yeah, I've been playing around with it. I don't know if I'll make the full switch to using it, but the number one thing that I love about this browser is so clean and minimalistic. I love that. It's just simple.
Yeah, it's
It's
pretty
not
dope.
overly cluttered. It's just a basic browser. And I don't know what the features. They have like their I should open it right now because I don't want to say that was wrong. Site shield settings, which is very interesting. So it keeps you like up to date about, when you visit websites, about how many ads and trackers are blocked, um, any fingerprinting methods, any upgrades that are necessary, and how much is blocked and what should be blocked. And you have that control right there, very easy at your fingertips.
Absolutely.
And I love that. I think what is it? I think Chrome has something that's kind of similar to that, but it's an extension. I don't remember 100% what it's called. Ghosty, I think it is. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Ghostery's findings.
the ghostery, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the closest thing that Chrome has, but it's not natively built in there. It is an extension that you have to go and get yourself. Um but this one,
Yeah.
Brave just has it just natively in there, just actively doing its work the whole time, anytime that you're using it. I love that. And
Yeah,
it's not a mess.
it's pretty dope. I think from what I recall, their code is on GitHub for the techie people, so you can definitely look at the stuff there. It is an open source browser. Browse faster by blocking ads and trackers that violate your privacy and cost you time and money. So far, I don't have it open right now, and since it's light, maybe it shouldn't affect if I open it right now. Where is it? It's like missing while I'm talking about it right now. So I was going to try to open it up on it. Let's see, BRA. There it is. Going to give you some stats thus far since I've been using this thing. It's opening right now. Open, open, open. And it doesn't want to open. Let me see, is that it here? We're doing this real time.
I also like that inside
No.
the URL bar, it gives you like how long it took to load up a page.
Yeah.
I don't know why that amuses me, but I like knowing how quickly, like, oh, okay. It took six
So
seconds to do this.
yeah, so I like the interface with the nice images that it does with along with the clock on the right side. I think that's pretty neat. So far, and it just went up. 744 trackers blocked, 557 ads blocked, 12 HTTPS upgrades in 2 minutes estimated time saved, and that's some of the stats on the browser right now. I really like this browser, and another thing I definitely want to mention about it is the fact that the founder of JavaScript and the co-founder of Mozilla and Firefox is heading that project. So if you're like, well, who is behind the project? Well, there's some big names and some super duper people on this thing, including I think the guy's name is Brandon. Brandon Ake, I think that's how you say his name, the founder and CEO of the team heading the Brave browser. So I am with you on not fully committing now in terms of fully switching, but as far as like the feature set, it's great. And they're evaluating which feature that they're going to have implemented by way of the extensions via the community, if it's needed, if it's not, and if it's going to breach the security of the browser, they're not going to consider it. But LastPass is there, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I just love it. I'm just like playing around with it. It's just nice, clean, and simple. I don't have a particular reason why I'm not ready to switch over to it yet. But I do notice that it is kind of like if it's something really quick that I need to check, not necessarily my emails. Um, like I've been doing it for looking up flights and everything like that and travel. I use Brave to browse.
It's all good. Yeah, it's definitely dope. I'm really enjoying it. So that's pretty much wraps up the technology portion of the news. Next thing we have is entertainment. Portrait mode trailers coming to Netflix Android app soon. Netflix is now one of the 8 largest media conglomerates after their market cap soared to 146 billion with a B. Any comments on that?
It's it's kind of crazy. Just before this, I saw a tweet that was sent out, and I think, oh man, where did I see it? It was on IGN. So
Mm,
Netflix is dominating. It's a graph, and we can link this, and I'll send it to you because I saw it literally just before we started recording tonight. But yeah, the graph says Netflix is dominating the entertainment industry with little caps. Only Disney and Comcast have a higher market cap. But Netflix is at 146 billion, where Time Warner or Warner Brothers is 76 billion. That's pretty much half, almost half.
Almost half.
20 Now this one I thought this was crazy was 21st Century Fox is only 70 billion. This is Fox, which has been around like Warner Brothers and Fox has always been the two main names to me in comes entertainment, especially just growing up. I know there were others, but I just feel like they're just up there. Sony rated it at 64 billion, CBS 20 billion, and Viacom at 13 billion. So they're not just only a little bit ahead of it; they're a whole league, with exceptions to Disney and Comcast, which I didn't list there. And the
Right.
source for that was like the Hollywood Reporter, and I thought that was just crazy. But I believe it, no matter what.
It's insane. It's really insane. Netflix is doing their thing for sure. And even on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, Daniela, as if that wasn't enough, okay, they're considering to get in the theater thing, in the theater game. Daniela, thoughts on that?
That's just crazy. Like if they start buying movie theaters, does that mean that if you're a Netflix subscriber that your movie theater tickets would be cheaper than your standard movie theater?
I don't know. I don't
And would
know.
it only consist of Netflix originals? I would assume so
I don't know.
because
But it's crazy.
I would love to see some of their movies up on the big screen. I wouldn't be disappointed by that at all.
I'm good.
Good. But I would hope that maybe like Netflix subscribers would somehow get some kind of like discounted ticket prices somehow.
Yeah. There's a lot going on right now. So, according to that article that I was looking at, based on the information they were sharing on the article, is in order for you to be considered, or the movies to be considered Oscar, blah blah, you have to show the movie in a theater in New York. I'm doing this by memory now, so don't scold me. And Los Angeles for a certain amount of time. And I guess once that has been done, then it could be considered for the Oscar stuff nominations. So that's what's going on with that. Also, in entertainment news, more than 100 million people worldwide are currently signed up for subscription service known as Amazon Prime. This was the first time, from what I understand, and don't fact check me on this, maybe you should. This is the first time that Amazon revealed that number ever, from what I understand. And any thoughts on that?
Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and plug ourselves. If you happen to have Amazon Prime, don't forget to link your Twitch account to it so you can get Twitch Prime. And if you happen to have your free Prime subscription, please consider us, the show radio, for your free Twitch Prime sub. Just putting it
Yeah,
out there.
word. That would be greatly appreciated. 100 million subscribers, didn't expect that at all. That's just a crazy number. And yes, what's the word? I concur with what Daniela just said. Support us, a new Twitch affiliates. I think you got lucky on the Twitch affiliate, Daniela.
No, I
You don't
worked
think
hard
so?
for it. It wasn't luck. It
All
was
you, all
hard
you
work.
need is a little bit of luck, Daniela. That's all you need.
No, I need luck when I go to, Vegas. That's luck. I need Lady Luck to be on my side there. Getting affiliate, that's just hard
Mm,
work.
mm, preach. So that's what's going on with that. What else we got? A couple of more things. Way okay. So there's a lot of sections that I'm going to tap into, especially when it comes to the video game section. A lot of stuff I want to read out loud because I think there's value there. Outside of that, there's also a couple of things left in the entertainment section, which includes the Ant-Man and the Wasp. There's some stuff going on there, so some new images and stuff. I don't know exactly if we talked about how we felt about the movie. I think we're excited about it. Daniela, talk to me about that.
I am. I'm excited for it. Maybe not as much as any of the other Marvel movies. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's like a weird thing that I
Okay.
forget that Ant-Man is in the Marvel series period in the MCU. Like I know he's there and I saw him, but then I forget about him. And it probably has to do with the fact that he probably has the least amount of screen time, really. Um, he has what, one movie? This is going to be his second.
Right. Hmm.
That's kind of it. It's not nearly exciting. I'll watch it, but it's going to definitely be one of the Marvel movies I don't watch in theaters.
Okay. And then in 5 days, is it 5 or 7 days? The next Marvel one come out. What we get in the next 5 7 days?
27. Oh, the 27th. We have Avengers 4.
Crazy, crazy. That's gonna be
It's
insane,
gonna
right?
be an insane weekend for Marvel.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. So that's happening very, very soon, a couple of days. Okay, so this I'm just gonna read it and I'm gonna hand it over to you, Daniela. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna do. Okay. So this says a Chinese YouTube star faces up to 2 years in prison after a cruel prank involving an Oreo cookie, toothpaste, and a homeless man. Daniela.
This I don't particularly like YouTube pranks at all. Like there's some that are okay, but I think majority of the ones I see go way too far. They really are. And I'm amazed that he's getting to face prison time for having so he took the Oreo cookie, he took out the cream filling and he replaced it with toothpaste, put it back inside the package so that it looks like a free thing, and he was going around handing out free cookies, and it happens to be one of them was a homeless man. But there
Right.
was another prank that he did where he had Oreo cookies with cat feces in it. And is
Oh,
giving
I
that
didn't
to
know that.
children and elderly. And I was like, why didn't you send him for prison when he did that the first time?
Wow, I didn't know that. Whoa.
Like, what is wrong with people? How is that a funny prank at all? Either or. You don't mess with a person's Oreos. Okay? To begin with. You don't mess with another person's cookies. But the thing is that as terrible as it is, even before this blew up and he's getting prison time, he had a lot of views and people still found it funny.
Right.
And that is so sad. And they don't learn. So I hopefully he learns from this. I mean, he's obviously facing prison time, and um, he's having to pay fines for it. But the homeless man stated that this is the worst that he's ever been treated, even as a homeless man. And I think he later tried to pay off the homeless man with $371 of like, don't say anything. Nah.
Wow.
There needs to be consequences, because you have younger people who watch YouTube and they're going to be influenced by that, and they're going to want to copy because they're going to see somebody did something successful over a stupid stunt and it's going to be imitated. It's like it's just what happens, especially with a younger crowd.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like so along the lines of things that happen that are really serious. Not too far from me. Maybe I can literally walk to this particular house where, drove by it a couple of times, and maybe a day or two ago, there was, a whole bunch of sheriffs outside the home, and once the sheriff shows up, you're being removed from that home, right? So all the stuff was outside, all the furniture, all the, couches and everything, and we're looking at it, driving by, and I'm like, yo, that's a real serious thing. Like when you're trying to hold on to the home, and people probably drove by that and thought that was funny, where all the stuff was outside. And then um, I think driving by it today, most of the stuff outside was gone because people probably saw the stuff and just came by and took what they could and repurpose it for something else or sell it, or maybe they wrote Craigslist and say free pickup on this particular address and stuff. So I mean, it's serious stuff. There's some serious stuff going on right now, just in the world of what we think is funny, what we think it that isn't funny. But you know, it's a real deal out there. And what I guess it's something I saw in that particular comment, or the context of this guy, this YouTuber. I think it said something like, "Well, this is probably the first time in a long time that the teeth or of the homeless man is actually clean," or something like that. I was like, "Really, dude? Really?" But anyway, that kind of a thing. Crazy, crazy stuff.
It is crazy. There's just a part of YouTube that I don't like, and it's not just pranks. Like I don't like pranks that are done on YouTube generally because they get to be really really crazy. I think the ones that I not like this one, well, this one included, but I also really don't like those prank channels where basically it's couples that prank each other,
Mm,
because some of them it always feels like it's almost more one-sided, like
right.
one person in that couple or whatever always happens to be pranked the worst, and they're just I if it was me and I was in that situation, even if it was a prank, I'd be so incredibly pissed off. You're like, no, this is kind of borderline spousal abuse, and I'm done. I'm out. I'm not here for you to make jokes of and for the rest of the internet to be making fun of me for any reason. I'm good. Even if it
Yeah, I
started
think.
off something that was a mutual agreement, you have to draw a limit somewhere.
Yeah, I think there was a couple. Either the boyfriend got shot or the girlfriend got shot in one of the pranks. Maybe sometime last year,
I
if
don't
my memory
remember that
serves
one.
something. But yeah, it can get really serious and that kind of a thing. But that's the crazies that we have in the world today. Video game news, a couple of things I did see. Dead Mouse is developing a first person shooter game. Billy Mitchell, stripped of all the records that he had. I guess he used some unconventional means to attain those records that were in the books for a long time. I believe it's Twin Galaxies, and I think they're no longer there. Any comments on those two things?
Man, Billy Mitchell's name was really, really up there for, especially when they did the documentary King of Kong. Like he was super recognized, and everybody looked up to him and being the first and hitting this, million score. And then, somebody found something like they could tell that he was using an emulator to achieve this, just based off of like the way that I think the intro screen showed up. That was like if it was the original hardware, um, it didn't do that. It didn't act that way. So that sucks because I think he got a lot of publicity from that, obviously. And now he's got like nothing, and he's forbidden from uh ever submitting anything ever again. They're contacting the Guinness Book of Records, removing that title from him. So it's going to be given to the next person. So, yeah,
Crazy,
there's always going to
crazy.
be somebody that's going to go and fact check you and make sure.
Word. They should fact check what we just talked about with Billy Mitchell, if that's even true.
They should. I mean,
Should.
anybody who listens, they're more than welcome to fact check me.
Word. That's insane. That's sad, but at the same time, you should know better. Ubisoft E3 stuff, right? That is happening. The publisher of Ghost Recon Wildlands. You also know them for Assassin's Creed. They're actually going to have their press conference at on Monday, the 11th at 1 p.m. That's what's happening with them. And there's definitely going to be some E3 news coming out as we receive them. One of the things that I did see, and I'm waiting for Daniela's, which is typically automatic, is when Xbox says you're invited to blah blah blah, and Sony will say you're invited to blah blah blah, and then that's their whole. Okay, so Microsoft has their press conference, and then they send you the stuff. You fill it out. You say, "Yeah, I'm going to be there. No, I don't need any special assistance or anything like that." And then you like say okay. You send it off. You click the little check marks, and then you send it off. And then Sony sends theirs, and that's the one that people really want because Sony actually feeds you. So as I'm thinking about it, I'll just go into it. So Sony
So
feeds
he
you.
actually feeds you.
Sony feeds
That's
you.
always one
Okay,
food.
and that's exciting because they when they put out a spread, they got the tables, they got the coolers, they got drinks, they got all they set it up. Okay, so people want to go there because they figure once they eat, they can just go watch the thing for Sony, get super duper excited, all the videos and podcasts that come out of that whole day, they record their stuff later or whatever, and they carry on. So we're still waiting for that, and we're still waiting for Daniela's Xbox thing. So I got my fingers crossed over here because this is the first time in the history of the show radio that Daniela and I are going as press together, and it's special. So I'm
Yeah,
looking
so
forward to, yeah,
I just hope that I didn't miss somewhere where I'm supposed to sign up and I didn't, and I'm like, I don't
yeah,
know. I went to go look at my the dashboard. I forgot what the name of it. The Connect Me Met dashboard where you go to register
yeah,
for your
yeah, yeah,
E3 badges. And I'm like, is there something that I didn't remember to tick off here? Like,
yeah,
I went to go look at the Xbox stuff. I'm like, I don't know what I'm missing. I didn't get one.
yeah. So I was asked today, um, are you excited about E3? That was the question that was posed to me. And I said, no, no, I'm excited about the dope conversations at E3. I'm more excited about that than I am going to the pressers. I love the pressers, but I'm more excited about that stuff. The conversations that happen at 2 o'clock in the morning when I know I should be sleeping. The talking shop of where we're going to do, what are we going to do next. Those conversations happen at E3, right? Where we actually see each other face to face and we have those conversations. Some of those conversations can be recorded, and some of those conversations cannot be recorded depending on where you're having those conversations. But talking shop, branding, next level, the quote unquote elite of elites, whether you think you should be there or not, and you're actually there, those are the conversations I'm really excited about.
Shout out to Sharif Jackson that's currently in chat. I don't know what he's saying here. Or 3
Word.
a.m. or 4 a.m.
4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or no sleep or some sleep or just pure Starbucks crazy. Those are the things that I'm excited about, and who's talking about what, not even the parties this year I'm excited about. I think the party thing wore off of me year two. I think I was like, okay, the parties are dope, but I can't really have a conversation at the parties. Really can't, right? It's outside, it's going to those venues, especially if they're walking distance. Those conversations are the things that I hold on to. But that's just me. That's just me. That's where I am and my mindset. I'm all about who's coming up, what value can we add, and what does that look like? That's where I'm at. It's a strange place for me because I never thought I would get there, but it's a strange place for me. That's where my heart is at. And that's, so that's what I'm excited about.
Well,
Word.
I'm just excited, period.
Word. That's fine. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. And it's going to be a trip. And I think that even now, it didn't hit me yet that we're not that far away from all this stuff getting ready to take place.
I think we're less than 6 weeks. I gotta go and book my flight still, and I was
Uh,
hoping that the
that's-
prices. There's some
you're
article that I read that it's like there's that sweet point where the tickets are the cheapest than any other time, and it's usually about six
yeah,
weeks out.
exactly.
It's usually about 6 weeks
Exactly.
out, and I was like, nah, they're still $800. I'm like, I guess I gotta go and spend $800 on this ticket, which I feel I
Yeah.
want to beat myself up over because there was one time, I was at work and I decided I had like a 15-minute break. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go see how much the prices of the tickets were, and it was 550. I'm like,
Right.
awesome. Okay, I'll buy them tonight. When I think that was like 4 hours later, I went back to go check. They were back up to $800, and I'm like, I wish that I just bought it at that time.
Yeah.
So bummed.
Yeah, I gotta go back into like what you're saying now in regards to that sweet spot. So it's time to start looking at those things, making sure I have all the apps that I need, my Uber's updated, the card information is updated, my Star Wars card, all that stuff is happening in the next, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that, and even some of the things that Sharif is saying in the chat as far as Division 2 being something that we're excited about, and we're prepping to see that at E3. And what I'm really excited about is some of the things we're going to talk about later as far as video game news is concerned is the moves that are being made, the things that are being bought by way of companies to provide new titles that we're familiar with as far as genres are concerned, to build communities around that, even if it doesn't hit the FGC arena, right? So there's a lot of companies right now making purchases, acquiring companies, backing a lot of things, and those things speak to me of just the only thing we're concerned about right now is building communities around this thing, right? Or we're going to sunset a project because we want to focus everything on our main franchise. So we have a lot of those things happening right now. It's exciting to see, even though to some it's going to be upsetting because they're sunsetting projects that we like, whether it's a mobile project or an actual, title that we enjoyed. But those things need to happen, especially for the next wave of goodness that we're getting ready to see announced and then excited about for the E3 stuff. So all that came from one bullet point. Anyway, so we'll move
Well,
on. Go ahead.
Try is wondering, are there any reveals expected for E3 from Xbox, PlayStation? There's actually a lot of reveals. I can't name them off the top of my head, which is really sad right now. But yeah, Division 2 is definitely one of them. That that was just recent in the last couple of weeks. I'm not so much
Okay, so
interested in reveals as I
right,
am in just finding more information about what is already currently out there and we don't know
right,
as much about. And as far as that goes, I want more information about, we're going to talk about this later, about the Atari.
right.
So that's a
A
huge thing.
lot,
The
a
Atari
lot in
is
there.
the biggest thing. Um,
Right.
Personally, straight off the bat, if there is something that I want more information of, as for me personally, Final Fantasy 7 and Anthem.
Right.
I think those are
Which, yeah,
really my top three.
yeah. So there's definitely a lot going on there. I'm just excited to see. Okay, I'm still hopeful for the Vita stuff, but I know that's pretty much a wrap at this point. I love the fact that what people expected from the Nintendo Switch is completely opposite. There was a camp that was like, "Yeah, this is cool," but and then you see all the stuff Nintendo Switch has been releasing, all the games being ported to the device, all the support it's receiving, right? And even all the games being localized to the unit for us to enjoy. And I think that has been a big story in and of itself of how successful that it's been. And I'm still somewhat overlooking it, not disrespectfully, but it's like, okay, am I going to make the move and get the Switch myself soon? Because I see all the stuff that I could be playing on it and enjoy at the same time, and even review some stuff too, because I like free stuff. But that's a whole nother thing. Whole another thing. Any other thoughts on that?
Mm-mm.
Nothing there. A couple of things. BioWare will focus on delivering an engaging story world. And that was a nice transition you did there, Daniela. And characters in Anthem, particularly following the failings of Mass Effect Andromeda and its lack of story DLC. Daniela, talk about that. Talk about it.
Oh, man. I'm looking forward to it. I really hope. I'm not. Let me start this whole process of thinking here. I'm not 100% sure what to expect from Anthem. I know with the information that they put out there already, I am expecting something very. I guess I'm looking for something to fill that void that I guess I was hoping Destiny would do for me, or Destiny 2, in terms of having, exploration and going into these exospace shoots and flying around and doing it with a group of people. Now, it says, particularly the following the failings of the Mass Effect Andromeda, the lack of
Right.
story. I'm not even sure what kind of story I want from it.
Right.
So this is why it's on that list for E3 of like, I want to know what more to expect. So I guess like I can read about everything on there and come up with assumptions and fill in the little potholes of things that I'm missing. But I guess I'm looking for that on hands experience to get a better feel from it.
Right.
I do, since it kind of is like this open world that's going to be offering there. I'm kind of am expecting a very big story that goes along with it, and that the DLCs or like the expansions are just going to add on into this world that you're exploring and the things that you can drop in on with friends. Come on, E3, let's just get here already.
Just get here, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
a couple of things that Sharif was mentioning in the chat is definitely the Switch is not for everyone. You're missing dope stuff if you don't have all three consoles. That's always the case. Absolutely right about that. I would be surprised at anything beyond a teaser, and that was directed at Try in regards to I believe, contextually speaking, the Division 2 stuff.
No, I
I could
think
be
that was
wrong.
in context to the hopes of him seeing Halo 6.
Halo 6. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so in regards to Halo 6, which we have some Halo stuff in the show notes. So I guess I think I'll attack that when it comes to that. So SNK celebrating its 40th anniversary as a company this year by teasing new hardware, invoking its classic lineup. That's exciting. Along with that, we also have Sega will be making the Mega Drive Mini, which launches later this year, just in time for the console's 30th anniversary. Any comments on those two things?
I need the Mega Drive Mini.
Absolutely dope.
Sega was for a long time my favorite by far console. Being the Sega CD being my favorite. It wasn't necessarily a console, but it was, and it was like attachment to the Sega. Um, God, I just need it. I need that Mega Drive.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, Sega's I remember when I used to go to Macy's back in the day when Sonic was very, very, the promotion for that was crazy. And you had the Genesis does, you can't do this on Nintendo, Genesis does. And that whole thing, I love that, right? I used to take the escalator up to the second floor. And as soon as I looked to my left, there are all these screens there, and Sonic was on all of them. And I used to play the game there. That whole time I remember even some of the games as I'm thinking about brainstorming it, chopping it up with you guys. The games with gold in May 2018 has some Sega stuff in there, which I'm excited about. So Genesis has always been one of my favorite consoles, and I'm really excited about what they're doing there. So
I
that's
have
what's
like
up.
a little small story to that. So growing up when the Sega came out, did its thing. My grandmother worked at Sears, and she was actually working in the electronics department. I didn't know this until maybe a couple of years ago when she was like unpacking, unloading some of her old stuff. So the Sears employees got this like special Sonic jacket, and it was embroidered with their names, and they had a little button and title that says that they were a Sega expert
Nice.
working in the Sears department. And I'm like looking at my grandmother who's going to be turning 86 this year. And I'm like, but grandma, you don't even like the Sega. She's like, I didn't, but they wouldn't let me sell the Super Nintendo. I'm like, oh, okay.
Ah,
I'm like,
there it
I love this
is.
thing. So I'm like, I'm going to take this jacket off of you. And I took the jacket. My sister took the
Take a
baseball cap
picture.
that was for it.
Take a picture.
Yeah, I gotta go and find it. I gotta go and find it. I put it away because it's like it's really old, so it's super brittle, super gentle. I have to be super nice with it. I'm like, this is pretty dope.
Yeah, I want to see a picture on IG. Put that up there. put that up there on IG. So that's what's going on with that. Nintendo has filed a patent for what could be a new system. Will allow communication between different screens. I did see that. There's going to be a link for that in the show notes. Also, Battle Royale game Darwin Project is now free to play on Steam. Any comments on those things?
That was really quick that they went from free to play because that game released not too long ago. And this is what I mean by the battle royale scene, the genre itself, the last man standing, whatever genre you want to call it, is oversaturated that companies like this that are coming out are having a really hard time of getting people to pay for it, especially with games like Fortnite, who initially straight out the bat was free to play. Now you have Radical Heights, that's going to be free to play. That makes sense for them. I think the last one that I know that a lot of people will still buy that falls into that genre is PUBG. Other than that, like unless if you're gonna be making a battle royale game, almost from the gate, it just needs to be free to play. It seems. I think they're just gonna be struggling. There's just so many options, and I swear I'm getting tired of them.
But you play them, right?
Oh,
At least
I
once
won't
or twice.
I maybe right now the one that I want to play, it's actually not even available in the U.S. It's based out in China. It's called Rings of Elysium, and that's the same company that created. Well, before PUBG was available on mobile, there was a mobile game that looked almost exactly like PUBG, and they released it first, like 2 or 3 months before PUBG did. And so they created a PC version, and it's like so much cleaner, so much smoother, and it looks a lot better. It's pretty much what I feel PUBG should have been, and that is free to play. And even though it's only available in China, like you have to change a couple of your batch files to so that the text is actually in English. But
Right.
the ping isn't so bad, at least for being in Hawaii. Not as bad as you think it would be.
Word.
So
Interesting.
other than that,
More.
I'm glad
More.
I'm happy just sticking with Fortnite. There's just too many. Even Radical Heights, like okay, this is cute, this is fun, but that novelty of it kind of died out really quick on me, and that game is so far from being ready to be like a full-fledged game.
Right.
I'm like,
But they mentioned that.
well, yeah, but I feel like that was just like that's like a huge cash grab. I mean, yeah, it is free to play, but they do have the founders pack that I think it's like $15. I think they're just really needing to get something out because they lost so much money with Lawbreakers.
Mm.
That's what
So they
I
had to do
think.
something.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have to
they
do
had to make
something.
a change.
They have to jump into something quick. And right now, Battle Royales is just where it's
It's the
at.
thing. It's the
Mm-hmm.
product. It's all right. It's okay. So I need you to. I'm gonna ask you to help me understand some things that I do not understand, which is gonna happen really really soon. But before we get to that, Castlevania Grimoire of Souls announced by Konami. Any thoughts on that?
Oh, there's gonna be a lot of fans for that. I'm interested. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Another Castlevania game.
Word. Word. And next thing we have on the docket is all things Xbox E3 2018. I'm going to open that up real quick, read a couple of things from that. That link will be in the show notes as well. Let's see. Is it okay? This is, I think my links probably I mixed up my links here. Make sure I'm looking at the right thing. This is Xbox Major Nelson talking about E3 stuff, and the Fan Fest is going to be big. They're going to get some backpacks with gear in them. That's going to be dope. What else did I see? Amongst other things, fans who win one of the Xbox Fan Fest tickets will get early check-in, private check-in, and admissions to a fan rally prior to the Xbox E3 briefing on Sunday morning. Briefing access, epic moments, can't miss stuff, exclusive stuff, meet Xbox, the developers and stuff like that, the leaders, the influencers, a secret gear backpack full of amazing surprises, a custom jersey, since Xbox fans deserve the best apparel to show off their fandom, and a lot more covered in this particular article. I think, let's see, what else does it say? Xbox Live at E3 will air Monday, June 11th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then much, much more included in that article. Any thoughts on that?
They just want
Nothing.
E3.
I just won it. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Also, okay, so please educate me on this free sync thing. I know it's a thing that's been around for a long time. According to what I'm seeing, this free sync is being talked about alongside the Xbox One X and the One S, I believe. Please educate me on what free sync is.
So this has to do a lot with refresh rates, which, okay, first of all, I really don't like it, and I do like it because people automatically assume certain things, and it really is very based off of your personal setup, not necessarily your console. So just a general understanding of it. So way back when in sync, oh my goodness,
Bye bye bye. Don't wanna be a
Nvidia
fool for you.
Nvidia started this whole trend with their whole refresh rates that everybody
Right.
is like, yeah, the faster the better. Um, but their thing was called G-Sync, and then AMD came out with something that was called FreeSync. So it has to do with how quickly your processor is going to be, sending you these refresh data rates, and how it processes it, and how it goes about doing that. If it does it too fast or too quickly, you have the desyncing, where you'll think that you're a certain place, but really on the other person's screen, the way that it refreshes, you have that stuttering and that lag that you'll experience because, especially on consoles, and maybe older PCs, you have an issue with the input lag and maintaining a very steady 60 frames, which is right now for console, that is the ideal, to have the 60 frames. It's not necessarily as important with PCs because you can have games that upwards 400 frames. But they're trying to improve that lag input and the stuttering that you see, or the clipping in consoles. Now, that's all well and great, and I'm glad that they're moving forward and everybody can have that better, cleaner gaming experience. My problem with it, why I don't like to so much talk about it, is that TVs aren't set up for that.
Okay.
They really aren't. So I don't think there's any I believe that there are HDMI FreeSyncs, but I don't believe that there are HD TVs that have the FreeSync support. Monitors do. The 200
Right.
plus dollar monitors, there's FreeSync monitors for that. But how many of your typical normal console gamers, whether it be on PlayStation or an Xbox, have their consoles hooked up to a gaming monitor when they probably already have a TV? Because it's not, for a lot of people, Xbox is more than just a gaming console. They use it for Netflix, they use it for Hulu. So obviously it's going to be in their living room with their TV to enjoy with everybody else. So to have this FreeSync support and that compatibility, it's all well and great, but you're not going to experience much of a difference, if at all, on your typical normal TV. You will if you go and buy a really nice BenQ gaming monitor that most people, if you have a PC, you might probably have. So that's my whole issue about it, and the basic breakdown is it has to do with your refresh rate, and it's super super clean. And I wish I can explain numbers to you, but the best way is for you to visually see it, because some people will think like, oh, it won't make that much of a difference. It makes a huge difference, especially if you're very competitive in I want to say more in fighters than it is in shooters. But if you're the type of
More in
person
fighters than
who,
shooters. You
Yeah,
said.
so like if
Okay.
you play Street Fighter, you play KI, you play
Right, 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 right.
um Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and you're very in tuned with paying attention to how many frames a certain attack does, and there's certain key elements that when you're playing and you'll see an animation that starts, you want to be able to have the best uh, monitors that can capture that refreshing those frames so that you know how to counter that. Now, if you're just attached to your TV, um, and it doesn't have that FreeSync support on it,
Right.
you're going to sometimes miss either the beginning of that animation for whatever's happening on your fighter or the middle of that animation, and you cannot react fast enough.
Okay. So is it fair to say that what we're talking about here, if I'm understanding correctly, is accurate representation
What do you mean?
in terms of the one to one of what you're doing? So if I do an uppercut, there's no lag between the uppercut and what I think I just did with the motion of the uppercut and pressing, the low, the medium, or the high, whatever uppercut I do, and how it translates to the screen that I'm looking at.
With the better refreshes, yeah, you'll have that one to one. If you don't really
Okay.
have that, if you don't have it's a two-part thing. So you need the console or the PC or whatever that offers that the FreeSync or the G-Sync, whatever you're using, and the monitor to be able to enact that. If you don't have the monitor, you can have FreeSync enabled on your console. It's not going to make that much of a difference.
Right.
This is why
Okay.
you'll see if you ever go to um, a tournament, an esports tournament, anywhere like that, you won't see them playing on a TV. You'll see them playing on monitors that offer that
Right, right, right. Got it.
because of those reasons.
Okay. Very interesting.
And
Interesting stuff.
the bigger your screen is, I won't say necessarily your monitor, the bigger your TV screen is, so your HD TV, 4K TV, the more of a higher refresh rate you need, and the more problems you'll have in input lag.
Hmm. So is that why the game mode option are on the TV stuff to, I wouldn't say combat that thing? Because
I don't
that
think
deals with
so.
latency and stuff, right?
I think it helps. I don't think it really combats it. I don't think it really closes that gap as much as it probably needs to.
Okay. Okay.
So, I mean,
Very cool.
I like that there's an option, but majority of time, your typical console gamers, they're not going to spend 200 plus on a monitor when they already have like some four, $500, $2,000 TV.
Right, right, right.
that,
Interesting. Fair enough.
that's just me. Even my consoles are all hooked up to my monitor.
Mm,
So
interesting.
yeah, it's not hooked up to my TV.
Interesting. Xbox One S and Xbox One X are getting AMD FreeSync 2 support. That's that whole thing with that. Thank you for the bits of a lot of bits of knowledge there. I had no idea what that was, really. No clue. So I appreciate it. Word. That's
Yeah,
what's going on
so
there.
if you want to take advantage of that, go buy yourself a new monitor, a FreeSync monitor.
Word. That's what's going on with that. Ubisoft's The Division movie adds Deadpool 2's director. If you've been following that journey, link in the show notes will be for that. Warframe Beast of the Sanctuary update detailed. That's going to be in the show notes. Any comments on those two things?
Um, so the Division movie, I think that'd be pretty well. I like the director for Deadpool too. So,
You
but
feeling that?
yeah, I am. I
Okay.
don't dislike the Division. I just haven't revisited them. It like when it first came out, it kind of died out a little bit quickly, and then they just been correcting that with all the awesome DLC and expansions that they've been doing.
Word.
I didn't dislike it. It's just that I don't know.
I didn't
I
taste
think the
anything.
story behind it is actually really, really good. So I'm looking forward to the movie, and I think that director can do it some justice.
Word. So I'm excited, Daniela.
Why? What's up?
I'm really pumped. Like this past week, right? This past week was probably one of the dopest weeks for these deals for me. Okay. Because it's rare that I buy anything. Okay. It's rare. Okay. But this deal here, I mean, it just did it for me. Okay. So we talked about it in the past couple of shows, maybe 10, 20 shows back, 30 shows, maybe, because you've been doing your thing for a while now. That when we speak of certain games, we would love the games to be placed in a nice release window so they don't get eaten up by certain giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I missed out on another game that was like $5 to like $7, even though I knew I wasn't gonna play it that much because I'm a scaredy cat. I don't like, monsters that they hear you and then they chase you down. Games like you know, Naughty Dog's that game, that scary game Naughty Dog did. Semi scary, right? The Last of Us, right? So they had a deal maybe a week or two ago. Last of Us was about $5 to $7. I'm like, I'm gonna try to take advantage of this deal. It's the remastered. I'm buying mostly digital now. Boom, let me try to get it. Man, I missed it, right? But this time, Daniela, this time that was not going to happen, okay? Because I saw Titanfall 2 for like $6, okay? And I said that I'm going to pick up this game because I've heard so many great things, but I never had a chance to play it for the PS4. I did the little demo thing that was cool when they had that, but never had a chance to really play the game. Heard the campaign was absolutely amazing. That was cool. So I'm like, all right, I'm excited about that. But we all know what happened to Titanfall 2. They released it in a release window that was crazy among some titans of the gaming world, and it got eaten up when it should have been released somewhere around March, April, or something like that to give the game a chance where people actually can play it. But because of that whole thing that happened to them, a lot of people didn't play it, even though we were waiting for it to come out on the PlayStation the first time it was multi-plat, that kind of a thing. People got excited, but whatever. So $5.99. I'm like telling everybody, hey, Titanfall 2 is $5.99. And they're like, well, probably not going to play it anyway. But to me, it was the one of the best deals in that whole double discount thing. So that's my spiel. So I'm excited. I'm hype. Okay, I'm really hype. And I started playing it. And I'm like, this is what I would have missed for $6. The intro, okay, the opening cutscenes of Titanfall 2 was worth the $6. But I digress.
I think it is. I think I'm like looking at the list, and I was as you were saying that, I was trying to think if there would have been something that's as good of a deal. I don't really see it. There's a lot
It's
of good
not there.
deals. There is a lot of good deals. There's a lot of good games, but not for
Mm-mm.
that price point.
No, no. So I'm telling everybody, okay, before Tuesday. So we're gonna release this by Monday. Hopefully everything goes well. We release it, no problems. Everything, copacetic. We release it. Everybody, okay. Titanfall 2 at $6 is not even a thought process. Okay, it's like, why wouldn't you want to do that? That's just me. That's just me. But I have my own bias. I know I have my own bias, but that right there, woo, I'm telling you, man. Anyway, that's what's
Yeah,
up.
well, I can't. I'm banned from buying any more games, even though I did just buy another game. So
I'm telling you. What you buy, Daniela? What you get?
God of War that I have
Mm,
not been able to play yet.
mm, God of War. Yeah, so
Uh,
that's what's going on with that double discounts for PS Plus members. There's some dope games, as Danielle mentioned. A lot of those stuff. King of Fighters in there, Little Acres in there, The Sims 4's in there, a whole bunch of stuff. Titanfall 2 Standard. That's what I picked up. What else? Tomb Raider's up in that piece. It's a lot of stuff, man. NBA 2K18 stuff, if that's your thing. Mass Effect Andromeda, which we highlighted earlier, that's $27.99. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal, right? Whole bunch of stuff, man. Woman. I had a joke in there, but nah. No,
Stop while you're
nope.
ahead.
I'm not. I'm not getting caught out there.
You already
Nope.
dropped a pun with your Titans over there.
Woo! I'm not getting caught out there. That was close. That was real close. All right, so I'm going to close this tab. That's gone. Okay. So that's what's going on with those deals. A couple of things. We got more. Sega Sammy CEO confirms that the Yakuza studio is already working on a brand new IP for consoles. Any comments on that?
Yay.
Word, right?
I like to think of it as like, oh my goodness, and I'm probably gonna like these IPs too. And I'm just like,
There's
God,
there's a
I gotta
lot.
work on
There's
so
a
many
lot going
games.
on. There's a lot going on. So before I forget, Titanfall 2 has a solid single player, very fun and creative, says Mr. Jackson in the chats. But yeah, so Sega's doing their thing. They're releasing a lot of stuff. They're releasing a lot of mobile stuff as well, which is exciting, as well as the localization stuff that they're surveying a Fist of the North Star localization. They're thinking about doing that. That would be dope. And I'm in the Sega universe right now because Yakuza, that's my jam right now. It's my jam, along with some dope Destiny pulse rifles. That's my jam too. But yeah, that's what's going on with that. Resogun developer Storm Divers. That's a new game that they're any thoughts on that?
Resogun's really good. So I'm kind of
So
curious about this new one. Resogun was definitely what was that? That was the very first game because it was free on PlayStation, PS4 when it came out.
word.
It's funny because when I bought my PS4, I did buy a couple extra games. Don't remember what they were, but I spent so much time, so much more time playing Resogun that was free.
Right.
So
It's
Storm
insane.
Divers.
It's insane. Yeah, so Storm Divers, so I got excited, right? I saw the name Storm Divers, guys, gals, right? So I went into, the website, seeing what they had. They had some awesome stills, right? Dope stuff. Like, this is great. They have a trailer on there that's about 38, 41 seconds, something like that. And I'm expecting to see something awesome. And it was, but it didn't show me much. So that's where I'm at with it.
It's a teaser. They're just announcing
Yeah,
it. They let you know we're
yeah, but
making
there was this,
stuff.
yeah, but there was like this flaming thing towards the end of the trailer, and I'm like, is this where the action comes in? And then nothing. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Come on, man. That's it?
Yeah,
I
but it
don't know,
looks
man.
really nice. Like I guess like the environment that they showed
Yeah,
was really
yeah,
nice. I mean, yeah, you don't really know what it's about and what to
yeah.
expect, but
It was alright.
the
It was
environment
alright.
looks nice.
It was alright. That's all I got from that. It was alright. But yeah, so we'll see. It looks dope. I love the website. Website was nice. So far, so good. That's what's going on there. If you like basketball, NBA Playgrounds 2, that's going to be summer 2018. I haven't played it in a while, personally. I don't do basketball games. I don't do exhibition games like that anymore. I stopped somewhere around Madden 98, 99, somewhere around NBA Live 2000, 2001, give or take, whenever that was, if they had a NBA Live around 2000, 2001. So I stopped around there. Stopped playing those exhibition type of stuff. Uh, Soccer, I like. I still do. The FIFAs and the PES games, which I think there was a licensing thing that it doesn't sound like they're going to renew as far as PES is concerned. Something I saw in the news in relation to that. Anyway, NBA Playgrounds 2, summer 2018. That's exciting stuff. Reminds me of NBA Jam a lot.
See,
And
I don't play a lot of sports, and I definitely don't play sports games, but like these types and this style, I do enjoy and I like and
right,
I will play. I don't really like the super serious type that's typically out there. I don't know. It's just not my genre, really. But
mm,
I like the silly aspects of it. That's what draws
word,
me in. Is I like the cartoony and it's very fun.
word. Yeah, so that's summer 2018. If that's your thing, definitely check that out. NBA Playgrounds 2. Also, Platinum Games, World of Demons. Daniela, any thoughts on that?
I only just found this out when you posted it. To be honest, I'm gonna be honest about that. And the mobile game. And as you all know, I'm addicted to my phone. Apparently, you know, I have all these unlimited datas. I want to make the best use of it.
Yeah, Daily is helping a little bit.
You know, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. So you have the Super Smash like type games, Brawl Out, a Party Fighter on PS4. Okay, so we're talking about community stuff before as I think about it out loud, talking about games that people are buying different games, different IPs, because they plan to build a community around them. Okay, so fact check me on this. I could be completely wrong, but if I remember correctly, I recently saw Brawlhalla. Ubisoft picked that up, right? That was a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a party fighter type game, from what I understand. And that was recently free about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, or it's been free for a long time, and I'm just paying attention to it. That could be that too, which I'm fine. I'm completely fine with. And then you have this thing, Brawl Out, which looks really good. The Guacamole wrestler is in there, okay,
It
as a
looks like
featured
all
character.
just okay.
Yeah,
It looks like all just Sony or PlayStation
yeah,
characters are in there, at least
right,
mainly.
right.
I
It looks
don't
really
like
good.
it looks
Go
good,
on.
but I don't like how they said there's like something in the article where it says like, "Oh, our inspiration was didn't come from Smash Brothers."
Come on now.
And then they say that it was like the core of it was um kind of drawn from Street Fighter. And I had to watch the trailer 3 times. 3 times because I'm looking at it and I'm like, how can you tell me that you're not inspired by Smash? Like your stages, yeah, okay, visually different. But the basic, if you took away all the pretty colors in a drawing that's overlaying your basic stage, this is a Smash stage. And like, oh, maybe we took from like, oh, how you can grab onto the ledge. I'm like, dude, you took so much more like that. It's way more than just that. And I'm looking at the Street Fighter element of it, how they said they're like, oh, we're going for combos and combo breakers. I'm looking at it and I'm like,
Okay.
I don't know. You're not selling me on this thing. Like if you said, okay, you took elements from both, sure, okay, I believe that. But to say that it wasn't really inspired and Smash wasn't the starting point of creating this, I nope, sit down, you're lying.
It's it's a Smash game. Okay, period. I don't care what they're saying. It's a Smash game. It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful Smash game. That's what that is, and I'm loving it. I love the colors. I love the stuff with the kicking off the ledge, and then you see the smoke. Not the smoke, but the thing that the person is getting ready to get off the screen, kind of thing. All Smash stuff to me. That's what it looks like. Okay, so your favorite game, Daniela.
Yours.
Why it's gotta be mine though? Why it
I'm
gotta
just
be
gonna
mine
look
though?
over here. No.
Why it gotta be mine though? Call of Duty Black Ops 4 won't have a campaign, single player campaign that is. And in a world where we have all these awesome first person shooters, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really dig the fact that some companies are opting out of the single player great story stuff and focusing all their sunsetting, quote unquote, that part of it, and then focusing, doubling and tripling down on the multiplayer side of things. I think that's amazing. I think that's exciting to me because most of the campaigns I'll play a good portion of, and then I just want to jump right into the multiplayer component. But that's just me. That's not everybody's situation. I get it. I get it. Okay. So outside of that, I'm excited for what they're going to do with the multiplayer component of the game. You know, hopefully it's nothing. They learned the lessons from Infinity Warfare, whatever it's called at this point. You know, they learned their lessons from the dog game, right? Whatever that was called, with the doggy, or the recent Call of Duty or whatever. So lessons learned from all the previous things, and even lessons learned from World War II. Some of the things that have gone not so well in that game, and they're trying to clean that up a little bit. But definitely shout outs to the entire team there. They sent me the recent DLC. I'll be playing that. That was free from the team. So thank you. I definitely want to share that as I was thinking about it. Thank you, Call of Duty people, always showing me love. I appreciate it. But outside of that, I like the fact that some games do not necessarily have to have a campaign unless that is your focus for the game. Thoughts on that?
Okay, as far as Call of Duty comes, it almost makes sense for them to take out the campaign. I know there's some people who are actually disappointed, but I think I know more people who just skipped the campaign altogether and just bought the game just for multiplayer. They didn't care about the story. And like I think the only reason some of them even started it was like, hey, my friends were online, I figured I'd give it a try, but they didn't bother to take the time to finish it. Not saying that everybody is like that, but I think there's a good amount of people who just, that's the whole reason why they buy it, just for the multiplayer. That's it. So
Right.
what I do find interesting is that if this rumor happens to be true and that's what they're going to be doing, I don't even know if it's really necessarily a rumor anymore, but they're taking away the campaign and then they're going to be adding a battle royale mode. Like I said, this is
There you
going to,
go.
like, everybody wants to jump in on this, and I think it's
Absolutely.
crazy. I don't know how they're going to be, like, if they do include this battle royale mode, if it's how different it's going to be from everything else. A lot of people are shocked by that. Personally, I'm not, only because currently there is a Call of Duty BR game that is available. It has been available since last year, but it's only in
Okay.
China.
Ah, okay.
And there is a COD BR that is playable. It's not like the Rings of Elysium, like I was saying, where you can edit a couple batch files and you get it in English. This one is, they have its own. It has its own launch platform, that is very specific to China.
Word.
So you're gonna have to go and look some YouTube videos up on translations and where to click for these links to be able to download and install and put in your information, and then you also have to change your region to make sure that you're not in the US so that you can play
Right.
this. The ping isn't that great, but it just shows that there is already a BR game, and it only made sense that eventually that game was going to make stateside. What game that they were going to put it in, I don't know, because
Right.
I found out about that, I want to say maybe 8 or 9 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you really, really pay attention to certain forums and everything like that that's available, you wouldn't know that there was. But it's kind of fun. But that was before, this genre just started becoming really incredibly oversaturated.
We're
Now,
gonna see more games like that though,
yeah,
until
they're
it's not making any more money.
which I don't know when that's gonna happen. I think it's like, I don't know, when they come up with Pokemon BR. Maybe. I have no clue, but I guess we're gonna find out more information about, um, you know, Activision's idea and what they're gonna be doing. Was it May 17th? So yeah, May 17th. So about 3 more weeks. We'll see.
Yeah, this last man standing King of the Hill type stuff. It's so it's you're gonna see so much more coming out of that BR, and we're not gonna be surprised because if it's done well, we're gonna play it. If it isn't done well, it's just gonna fade away, and the top 4, 5, 6 titles are gonna remain. The
And
Fortnites, the PUBGs.
if COD has their BR, you know that Battlefield will have one too.
Yeah. you already know. You already know what's going on with that. But yeah, like so much happening. Okay, so there's Shenmue 1, Shenmue 2. The re-release is in the works before Shenmue 3 announcement. So that's a thing. Talking about community, buying stuff. I guess there's a little theme there. Companies that haven't made games or, published that kind of thing. It's just crazy what's happening. The Firewatch developer Canto Santo has been acquired by Valve. That's interesting. Even in recent conversations we've had on the show with how Valve is restructuring their main website to prepare for other things. And your thoughts on that?
Everybody's gonna be buying out everybody, and then what do you have? Just one giant monopoly.
Word. Word. That's what's going on. So the thing also with Valve, if I remember correctly, the Steam machines, is that what that was? The Steam OS machine, whatever. They fade that away from, they sunset that from the main, attraction. And here you have this thing with the Canto Santo by Valve, that kind of a thing. So not surprised. It's happening a lot lately. So you have that. Destiny 2, Daniela, our favorite game.
Tell me about your favorite game.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. So there's a lot going on right now with Destiny universe. Let's see how I want to structure this soliloquy here. Where Destiny 1 had such a great element to it known as the grind, where Destiny 2 wanted to focus on quality of life, which made everything easier, even the leveling up easier for individuals who are complaining about the grind. So now what's happening now in the Destiny 2 is making things faster. At the same time, you have Warmind, which is the upcoming expansion. Along with that, they're making sure that the grind from 335 to the next cap, I think it's 385 or something like that, I can check that, is way slower for the individuals who appreciated the grind. So essentially what we're getting is Destiny 2 with everything that we were complaining about that was missing from Destiny 1. That's happening again. So we're going back full circle to that. And we're going to have an article in the show notes that talks about all that stuff. So let me see. One of the things, let me just click this real quick.
How does that make you feel? Like, are you looking forward to it? Does that make you like more excited to return back to it and see what that expansion? Because that's next week, isn't it, or a couple weeks from now?
Well, okay. So the thing about it is, let me see if I can just go to this section. I'm trying to. There's a cool little. Have you heard of Mercury Reader? Mercury Reader?
No.
You heard about that? It's basically for Chrome. You add that extension, and once you install it, you click it, and it makes everything easier to read on the website itself. It's pretty dope. I like Mercury Reader. How do I feel about that? To answer your question directly, I like it. I really reached out with Try and some randos, and as we were doing that, I was having a lot of fun. I forgot how competitive I can get and streaky I can get when I'm really having a great time playing the game. So, numbers don't really matter. I was just, poning cats. Okay. And it was fun. It was really fun. Okay. And I think that the speed change, the 6v6 Iron Banner, all the little things that they're doing, even what they're doing with the exotics, where you get duplicate and you go to Zer, even though I got something I already had, so that's not foolproof yet. But aside from all that, I am excited to see how they're making those adjustments to go back to what we loved. So I'm excited, but at the same time, I am cautious on how I'm, getting back into the game. So I was grinding for exotics recently, a couple of nights ago, and I never got the exotics, even though I had the thing on for that potentially drop an exotic for blah blah blah. So those changes are exciting and not so exciting, but it's giving me that emotional investment again to, man, I didn't get the exotic. I need to grind some more. And I'm back into that mindset. And before I was like, you know what? There's really no point for me to play this game. I have one character that's pretty much maxed out. I'm just gonna leave it alone until something actually brings me back to play it. So you have that, and then the strikes are faster. So where the strikes are almost 20 minutes, now you can finish them really quick. Where it took longer to kill enemies, it's quicker to do the public events. But now they're going to make sure that everything is going to be focusing on the end game, which is very similar to Destiny 1, which is what many of the hardcore, quote unquote, Destiny people were looking for. And that looks like that's what they're going to get. So that's how I feel. I think that's fair.
See, I gotta ask you because I'll probably have the meh response. Where I know you pay attention to it a whole lot more, and it's like I pretty much experienced the same thing I did with Destiny One. It doesn't draw me in as much as it would do. Did I enjoy myself? Yeah. Did I think it was cool? Yeah. I mean, there was definitely some really good improvements and changes that I had, but I don't know. I think
You don't
it's
know.
just at this point where I have so many games and I have so little time. Where do I want to spend it?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Players will find that hitting the new power cap of 385 will be much tougher than getting to 305 or 335. And the article goes on and on about what to expect. And if you didn't like the grind, then you're gonna hate Destiny. Reborn Destiny 2. You're gonna hate it if you didn't like the grind. If you did love the grind, you're going to be right at home. That's really what it boils down to at this point.
We shall see how it goes. I mean, like you said, they were going back to the full circle, so hopefully going back to what people didn't like, then people like, hey, we want this back. I don't know. I just feel like to a certain point, it's like a lose lose in a way for them because, like, hey, like we did what you wanted, you didn't like it, so now we're gonna give you back what you didn't like. I hope you like it.
It's exciting times. It's definitely exciting times, and I think it's for the better. I really had a great time playing Iron Banner recently. And playing with friends is always much more fun. You're having a great conversation. You're wacky songs, and you're just having a good time and shooting people, and that's always fun. So, especially if you have some dope guns too, that helps. But um, I'm looking forward to the next evolution of Destiny 2. So that's what's going on with that. Where are we here? We are at Bosky Productions. Cliff Blazinski has called out his former studio Epic Games for trying to poach his studio staff. Any comments on that?
It's very interesting. So
Okay.
I think I don't know if this has anything to do directly with his partner. So he co-founded Bosky Productions with one of his former, colleagues from Epic, and then in December, what is his name? I have to go look for his name. Arjan Brucey, that's who it is. Uh, Ended up leaving, Bosky and went back to Epic. So I don't know if that had still like that was just like the start of it Because it's not like they went off to say, or you can find an article, it's about who left Bosky to go over to Epic, unless you were, your hands on in that whole process. I I can't say that I'm not surprised.
Okay.
And I don't know how much of it is Epic poaching his employees as much as it is his employees thinking, well, Lawbreakers failed. You're trying to put this game out, which I'm assuming that a lot of them are trying to work really, really hard and probably putting in some long days to make this game happen and somehow make their profit back from Lawbreakers. By
Right.
how much of them being like, look, I don't know how much longer you can stay afloat if this is what you're going to be clinging on to, and them just like, I got to find something that's a little bit more stable, and
Right.
then
Right.
just
Right.
going over to Epic. So
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. There's like, don't like anybody quote me on that. Don't say like, take my word. This is me making assumptions, me filling in gaps, and just trying to look at this trend of this whole thing. But Cliff Bazinski, for a lot of people, it's either you really like the dude or you really don't. Because sometimes,
True.
and I think also at that time, for those who didn't like him, I think it also had to do with his age in some factors, because he got really, really popular really, really quick. He had that fame come to him as a developer really fast for Gears of War, obviously. And he would post, some of these pictures of like, here's my Lambo and here's my really hot wife on my Lambo. Like, really, dude? So there's a lot of people, it's like love him or hate him. Um, but over the years, he's definitely matured a lot in that whole flamboyant personality of his, at least in the social media wise, has definitely died down quite a bit. He's a bit more of a humble man, and I don't know what it is. I personally feel like maybe some part of it really has to do with employees probably looking for more stable work and in
Right.
less stressful situations. I don't know how much of it really is Epic poaching. That's kind of it. But for him to be that upset and just, call him out on Twitter for that,
Right.
how much of that is for publicity for his game?
It's it's interesting because okay, let me see how I want to put this out there. Okay, so I've been accused of that.
Accused of what?
Accused of poaching people for their people to be my people, quote unquote, contextually speaking. And it was like, how could you accuse me of trying to take your people when we've had in the past a working relationship? I'm being very general this, just for many different reasons. And if it was wrong, it was like, that's foul that you even think that I would even do that. Okay, so there's that. So even going into how this looks and information that we don't necessarily have, behind the scenes, and that's always a thing. You know, we always believe we have all the information up front, and most of the time we don't. So we make an assessment, and we make conclusions, and we make the statements with our keyboard or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's really how those things pan out. So I believe the situation that took place with me, that there was a level of insecurity there, which goes back to what you were saying before, right? And it's a sensitive time when a company is trying to make changes and the success is not happening as quickly as they want to. And because there's some lingering relationship there, that could easily be perceived as, you're poaching on my people. If I'm even saying that right, according to the word or the term. That's not cool. Please stop. And at the same time, making a statement like that if it is not true, based on the insecurities, you're ruining relationships along the way for even putting that energy out on social media. You have that.
Hmm.
So now we're looking at it, outsiders looking in, have no data, but what was said, then it's like, whoa, that's crazy. Whether there's a guilty party there or not, I don't know. But that whole emotional, if you want to call it a roller coaster that goes along with that, I've been there. It's not cool. Okay. And I mean, and that's where word.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's really, really tough. So that's what's going on with that. After the loot box controversy surrounding Battlefront 2, EA's Patrick Soderlund has said the company has learned from those mistakes and promises to be better going forward. Any thoughts on that?
We'll see. We shall see.
We shall see. So you have that. Also, Halo, the Master Chief Collection. I was waiting because I knew we were going to talk about Halo later on. There's some awesome games that even if we go back to them right now, the soundtrack is playing. You're at the main menu screen. You're looking at it. You're like, I forgot how really amazing this game is. Okay. Whether that's Halo 5 Guardians, whether that's the Master Chief Collection, and even upcoming this summer, they're going to have a big patch for the game as they prepare for anything that they may announce come E3 time, week, month, season, right? That's really what that boils down to. So they're making a big patch for the game. Link will be in the show notes for that. I wouldn't be surprised if they show some armor that's green, somebody running, and there's a tank. There's a weapon on the floor that they slide and they get the shotgun or the BR or the AR, whatever the case might be. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. Or we see a mask on a table, a helmet that gets picked up and you hear the helmet get, put on and you have all these things. I wouldn't be surprised. Or you hear Cortana, or something like that. Crazy, right? I'm down. But there are things that need to be set in place that we can be excited for the momentum that's getting ready to take place for those games to be even announced or teased. And it may be in the form of a patch. We may look back at this episode 398, where we're talking about Halo stuff, where I said that there's a momentum that needs to be built as they prepare to do teasers and a marketing campaign for the next big thing. Maybe. I could be wrong, but this is a start. Thoughts on that?
No thoughts. I have nothing to add to that. I
Okay. Fair enough. No problem. Fortnite. Fortnite Q&A, PlayStation blog, that's there. A lot of information about Fortnite if you're in that Fortnite world, if you're in that Battle Royale universe and you want to read something really, really dope, definitely check that out. Any thoughts on that?
I think a lot of the information in there it's just a nice little, I guess, more information on more about the developers and the studio that's behind it than it is more about the game itself, which is always nice. It's always nice to know about the people behind the game. Gives you more
Word.
appreciation. So it's a good read.
Word.
Try
What?
says
Yo.
if Halo 6 was coming soon, would work still go into the Master Chief collection?
Okay. So if Halo was coming soon, okay. I'm trying to, is that a statement or a question? I don't know how I'm
Yeah,
supposed to
I
read
think
that.
that's a question. I don't know.
That's a
I would take it
question.
as a question. I think if Halo 6 was still coming, they would still. I think up until Halo 6 actually came out, if it actually came out and if there is one, I think they would still put some work into the Master Chief collection still
Yeah.
leading
Yeah.
up
Add a
to it.
follow up. Yeah. Add a follow up to that if you need to, for sure. Because my thing is, if you're a Halo fan, always been a Halo fan, years, and you do not have the Master Chief collection, you had it, but you don't have it anymore for whatever reason, you plan to pick it up while you're waiting for Halo 6, I would just say get it now. And then get your mind back into the game. Whether you play the first one, second one, however you want to do that, get back into the multiplayer component of the game. Uh, Remember what made you love the game in the first place by playing those things again, especially now they look better, right? Or they should, especially with the anniversary editions of the game that's built into the compilation that makes up the Halo Master Chief Collection. I would say pick that up. And then after you check that out, definitely check out Halo 5 Guardians. The campaign had mixed reviews. Some people loved it, some people didn't love it. I think it was cool. I think it was trying to appeal to some co-op experiences at the time to compete, but that's what you have to do to be in the game. You have to compete. So some changes were made. New engines was implemented in the game by way of if you don't like the cartoony look of the game, that may be a turnoff. But as times change, as engines get better, the new engines allow you to do more. So these engines should somewhat be embraced, at least welcomed in the beginning, to understand why the game looks the way it does before discounting it out because of certain visuals that you may not necessarily be excited about. Halo 5 Guardians, to my understanding, is a 60 frames per second game, if I remember correctly. And that in and of itself is a masterpiece. Playing it, soundtrack, world, the universe itself, going through that whole process is amazing. I still say play it just so you know how it plays for yourself. Videos are great because the videos are out there for you to get context of what to expect, especially the fact that I've been looking at a whole bunch of God of War videos and going into checking out what the streams are about a little bit, teasing myself because I want the game and I don't have it yet. But I still need to play for myself to really appreciate what the game brings with my own controller. So same thing applies for Halo. Same thing applies for the Battle Royale stuff. I don't discount it, that kind of a thing. So those are my thoughts there. Daniela?
One more question from Try. Was work still put into Destiny when Destiny 2 was near?
I think cleanup, sunsetting, some of the books, the things that you're able to finish to try to bring you to a place where you have accomplished a lot of stuff in Destiny 1 to go into Destiny 2. I think they were making sure that the fine tuning was there for the game to still be playable, even if you decide to go back to it after you purchase Destiny 2. And they did mention that they were going to still work on the game, even though Destiny 2 was coming out. So the answer is yes.
That's all I have.
Word. So definitely consider those things as it relates to games that you love, that you loved, and you have not played in a while. There's definitely value there still. So that's what's going on with that. Ninja Vegas 2018. What is up? Showcasing competitive Fortnite BR and celebrating Ninja's rise. Daniela.
So basically, in Vegas, where they have the home to, I believe it's a Luxor. I'm going to go and double check this. Yeah, Luxor Hotel and Casino is the esports arena in Las Vegas. They have a lot of great things that happen over there. So they decided to host this Ninja Vegas, which it wasn't your typical esports tournament necessarily, because it was a mixture of like a meet and greet with Ninja. I had a tournament. It had a whole celebration about all these things that are happening. And it was also a charity thing. So there was 9 games, I believe, that were played. 9 games that were played. And so that if you came in first, you won $2,500. And plus, on top of that, there's additional $2,500 on Ninja's head if you happen to be the person that eliminated him and killed him. So I thought that was really, really cool. They had some names that are very typical, like Myth was participating in this, that you would normally see in your leaderboards, and some that I think it was a very first experience for a lot of people that were in the competitive scene overall, because you don't see these names, you don't know who these people are. And typically, for me personally, I'm not a fan of people who use Twitch in their names for their usernames. It's actually a huge pet peeve that I like. That's the reason why I use streamer mode on Fortnite. Period. I love that feature. It's my favorite feature, but I really find it always tacky. But you know what? Who am I? Because that was actually some of the winners of these games. It's kind of funny. So I want to give a complete breakdown. So of all these 9 matches, Ninja only came in first in one of them. And Ninja is a very, he's a top player. He's a very good player, and a lot of people know him. Even if it wasn't for him playing with Drake, he was up there. Like he's very well known Fortnite player. And so to the fact that he only won one out of these 9 games says a lot. And a lot of them, he didn't even make it to like top 10, I think. Let's see. In his first game, he came in at 11th. Second game, he came in 24th. He actually got killed by somebody that I actually know. And he came in 35th. So I think maybe a small handful of the games that he placed top 10. Now, going back to who won these things, and I think was absolutely cool, was that it was different. It was different from the typical people that you would normally see. And I thought was really cool is that one of them, I think it was the second to last match. The winner of this one is somebody that nobody absolutely knows. And when the camera pans to him, it was like this 14-year-old kid who probably like this is right now the absolute highlight for him for probably his teenage years, because he not only did he get to participate in what is possibly, because we don't know much about this kid at all, but it could possibly be his very first experience in the esports scene, the competitive scene. He's 14 years old in a game that he enjoys, and it's like he had this huge smile on his face. So I hope really huge things happens for that kid.
That's awesome.
And I don't remember. I think the first person that won 2 of the games, I think he goes by Blind. Nobody knows who he was, but apparently he happens to be in the top 6% for Fortnite worldwide, supposedly, which was kind of crazy. So I'm sure that, his emails, his messages got to be blowing up, because this is the very first showcase of what the potential of having Fortnite as a competitive market could be. And I think this was a very good showcase of that. I think Ninja, and I think his wife, who also manages him, did a great job. And they had a lot of friends who obviously helped them. They didn't do it alone, but I think together they did an awesome job at showing what it could be and drawing people into the market. It doesn't have an official competitive scene for it. There are organizations that are picking up Fortnite teams as it goes along. And on top of that, it's not even just that. It was just celebrating how much he's brought Fortnite into the scene. Like, it was doing really well before the whole Drake and Ninja event happened. But I think he just definitely pushed it over the edge with this, because he broke his own record. So his record when he played with Drake the first time was just over 600,000 viewers. When he played with Drake the second time, I don't think he even got anywhere close to that. Like, it was kind of dead. But like, this tournament that he put on brought in 680,000 viewers. And still, even previously, this is some people's first experience with the game, which is, I find, absolutely kind of amazing. And that's what it was. And I think I enjoyed watching it. I didn't watch the entire thing, but I thought he did a great job, and it was very fun. The only thing that I thought was a little bit boring, so if you play casually now at home on your console or anything like that, it's people can be really aggressive. People don't think about it in a competitive nature. People played it very, very safe in this showcase, because you even had Ninja who would sit in towers in the safe zone and just like kind of camp in there, because if you're too aggressive, that's a very easy way to get yourself eliminated real quick. Tilted towers is one of like the hottest zones for people to jump in. It can be a crazy madhouse. You did not see that in this, which it makes sense because people don't want to be eliminated that quickly. But it also, in a way, kind of made it for a very slow, drawn out match.
Right. Purposefully.
Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people trying to play safe. So that was the only thing that I personally could see as it being negative. So, but we'll see how it is. I'm very hopeful. So, congratulations to him. You know, his popularity and his fame is he's marketing himself very, very well. His wife does a very, very superb job at managing him and his business, his brand, his name.
Word. That's really amazing. Ninja Vegas. That's really dope. So we were talking about other games embracing the battle royale experience product, if you will. Battlefield developer Dice is currently testing the mode in Battlefield 5. Daniela.
Now it's just gonna be the battle. Who has the better battle royale, Battlefield or COD? But the only thing that I can look forward
Yeah.
to, what I always thought was better in Battlefield than in COD, is I love the destructive environment.
Mm,
So to include that into Fortnite is just gonna be amazing.
word.
That I don't
Word.
think. I mean, you can destroy buildings that you create and everything like that, and that you're exploring in Fortnite, but like the destruction and everything that goes on in Battlefield, I don't think you can beat that.
Yeah, that's gonna be Battlefield. What is Frostbite engine? That's really dope. So that's a thing. The next thing is I know you're excited about that. Atari VCS. There's definitely details in that, and it's amazing what they're doing with this console. And I'm like, do I have room for another console? I'm still
Yes, you
trying to
do.
find a way.
With Atari, yes, you do.
Apparently, I do. Apparently, I have room for yet another console, and it looks really dope. There was a section there in this article that talked about the wireless controller portion, and I mean this article is detailed, uh, and I definitely encourage anyone looking into the system to check it out first. But I'll let you have the initial chats in relation. Definitely article.
You're cutting out just a little bit, but Atari is just that's like the beginning of my gaming childhood. But I feel like they have a very interesting approach to how they're putting this out there. So it's running on Linux, which is going to be um I feel like the impression that I'm getting is very open source. It's going to have a lot of flexibility. And what I found what was interesting about it is how they're handling peripherals for it. So currently, I think their test models is like they said, it's like, oh, we'll have, our own controllers, we'll have our own brand. But currently, right now in our testing zone, we're using Xbox 360 controllers. I think that is awesome because people want to play the latest and greatest things, but controllers are so incredibly expensive,
Right.
and to have even more and majority like what I love about playing on my PC is like I can simply just plug in either my PlayStation or my Xbox controllers and they just work. And that is the impression that I'm getting with this Atari VCS. That like, yeah, we have our own that we're creating, but if this controller feels more comfortable, we have this Bluetooth, we have this wireless capabilities, we have USB. We're open. I think that's cool. I like that their whole mindset is not only. I think the what is it? The analogy that they gave was that we are not a retro console. We are retro inspired.
Mm,
So not only can we do everything that the Atari, 2600 did, but we're also going to be able to make sure that we have all the modern things that people have grown to love and expect, which will have the gaming, we'll have new IPs, we'll have your Netflix, we'll have your Hulu, we'll have your Spotify. So it's, I just want it all.
Yeah, I like that, especially with the control thing that you mentioned, which is, echoing that, which is what I was going to tap into. But it's exciting to see the offering for the console. I think the price is going to be anywhere from, what did it say, 249 to 299 or something like that. Uh, according to the price, where did I see that? 249 to 299. Yep, in the article, and it's exciting. Even the controller concept picture in the article looks really really amazing. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. There's so many good products out there to decide on. That's all I have
there
there.
there is, but I think what I get from this, because Atari's been so good at not releasing too much information about it,
Right,
is that they're trying to be what I guess the Steam machine should have been,
right,
because they they're basically calling it a PC in a way.
right.
And they go on to mention, like, oh, people, it's like having your laptop but without having it, plugged into your TV screen, or having the screen sitting on your lap or in front of you. You can just hook it up straight to your TV. And the fact that they call it a standalone PC, and that's what they're referring it to, gives me instantly, I'm like, well, that's kind of what Steam wanted to do. That's what Valve wanted to do, and create. It didn't take off so well, and I think it also had to do with their price point and the OS that they were running. But Linux is a lot cleaner. It doesn't require as much overhead as far as CPU power, and I think that's a great OS for them to build that off of.
Yeah,
So
I'm definitely excited
I
about that.
that's why I want to find out so much more information of it. I mean, they didn't really mention any. I think they mentioned modern games. I don't know what that is, but it will include their entire Atari, library that they had. So that was cool.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Cody and Plex on there among the other things that you mentioned as well. It's going to be pretty easy for them to get those things on there because of open source, really. So that's going to be exciting to see that. Comment by Try says, I was just concerned that the more resources being put towards MCC would delay a Halo 6 game. Okay, so delays I like, especially if they're trying to perfect whatever the game is. I know there are games that Danielle, you could probably name that were delayed a few times before we actually got them, and it was for the better. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 was delayed. Um, the one where you're hacking the things. What do you call that game? It was kind of like a Grand Theft, but it was like more techie.
Watch Dogs.
That was delayed, right? And when the game came out, we were glad it came out. The delays were good to make the game better. So delays are good. But if your game is broken and you're getting ready to announce a new game, we're going to judge your new game based on the fact that your current game is broken. So the marketing is already in the dumps because we're going into it as okay, this MCC thing that you have over here, there are many things that you could have done right, according to what the community was asking, that you never did. And now you want me to shell out another, what, $59.99 for a standard edition or a legendary edition or edition package of Halo 6. And if that's how they if that's how they market it, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Right? So you have that whole thing too. So you're setting up, as we were talking about before, your marketing for your next thing based on the momentum that you want to build for that. So that's what I would say. So if you're spending time to fix MCC to prepare for any thing that's coming out from 343 Industries, I think that's a great thing. Delays for the better, I can work with that. You could be mad that it's delayed, but if it comes out and they fix stuff to make the game better, that's cool. But if you have a broken product right now and you want me to buy you a new thing coming out, that's bad. And that's how I would explain that.
Yeah, I have to pretty much mirror that. I'm not really against delays whatsoever, but I don't think they would apply if they okay if they had plans to have Halo 6 to come out. I don't see that it being realistic for them to take away and stop producing content for the MCC, the Master Chief Collection, at all. If anything, they should. It's a great marketing tool. It's an additional marketing tool to continue, to put stuff out. Maybe not necessarily as much as it when it originally did, but to keep supporting it because that keeps people interested in it, and just that's their tool. That is their game that they're waiting. They'll play while they wait for Halo 6.
Right. And the other example of that too is Shenmue. Look what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
building the train. They're speeding up this train for Shenmue 1, Shenmue 2, announcing it, teasing, pictures, trailers, and they're going to try to release that before Shenmue 3. They're building the train before you get to the actual product. But if Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 is not, beautiful and doesn't garner the attention that they were expecting it to garner before the new product comes out, then what's the point? So,
Hmm.
same thing. Spiral the Dragon, et cetera, et cetera, that kind of a thing. So that's what's going on with that for sure. Detroit Become Human. I'll let you run with that one, Daniela. What do you got on?
So that's right around the corner. That's in just over a month, well, maybe like a month and 5 days, and they're starting to, what I am assuming, doing making their rounds about the release and showing more information. So there was some additional videos that were made available, and it wasn't necessarily going into the direct game and campaign and the story as it was getting to know what they did leading up to this. So the actors, their video capturing or their 3D capturing, um, working working on the story and how they approached. So what I didn't notice from the previous gameplays that they showed. So you have these different androids, you have these different characters that you'll meet and you'll control throughout the game, and how each one actually has a different way that you're viewing them. So not only you're playing them, but they kind of in a way adjusted how the cameras react in your viewpoint. So I think for Kara, they were mentioning how she has a very short like camera distance because she's a more intimate person, so you're not going to have the far panned out camera because you want to be close and intimate with her because she's just carrying this android who has feelings that she shouldn't be having over this girl that she's taking care of. So they went further into that, and I thought that was really cool. And even how they designed different characters and gave each one of these androids these personalities that you're going to grow and learn as you play them and bond with them. And I'm looking forward to it, period. No matter what, is definitely on my list. And you know what, like watching this, I realized I didn't actually pre-order the game yet. It is
Mm,
pretty much the cheapest to buy it on Amazon, but I realized that on Amazon it's not available for pre-order. So I'm like,
mm,
does that mean that you ran out? So
that's
maybe
crazy.
I have to go to GameStop possibly to do that.
Yeah,
Either way.
it's I got some thoughts on that. Do you think it's something that's going to be trending in terms of how you experience a character versus other characters, even with the recent thing that we saw with the Walking Dead game?
Hmm, maybe. I don't know if it'll necessarily be a trend. I think it's obviously going to be dependent on the game and what they're trying to
Right,
convey and how they're pulling in their audience.
right, right, right.
Is it smart? Do I personally, as a consumer, enjoy it? Of course I do. I absolutely love it. It's definitely a great marketing tool aimed at me, or consumers like me, that like that total overall encompassing experience in a video game. I want to know the character that I'm going to be playing. I want to know their background. I want to know, you know, what will help me relate better. So, like in an instance of the overkill for The Walking Dead, when they introduced Maya, Aiden. Okay, so the first character they introduced was Aiden, which I thought was cool. I'm like, all right, that looks interesting. But then they showed Maya, that was very very emotional in a way. It was very emotional and very intimate how they introduced her and started showing her background, and that got me. So and similar games like that, like the Last of Us did something similar. When they pull in your emotions and getting to know what's happening. I think the last trailer that I actually watched that I think I want to say I think everybody has to agree with me is when they introduced Dead Island the first time.
Is that the slow mo one? The slow
Yeah,
mo trailer thing?
the slow mo one
Right.
that went in reverse.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is still to this day, I don't think there is a trailer, a game trailer for. You know what? You can say even a movie trailer too. I don't think there's been a trailer that I've ever seen that's ever hit me or impacted me as much as the Dead Island one. There's been some really really amazing ones that just like
There's been some
wow
dope
now.
ones. There's been some dope ones. That one was amazing. The Kara one is one of my faves. It's up there. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely have to agree on that. So this is going on with that game. Detroit Become Human, over 1,000 permutations, decision making stuff. Is clues, checking all that stuff. That's gonna be really really dope if that's your thing. And the hype train. Forget about the hype train. You have Corey Barlog crying over the Metacritic from 93 to 94 while he was watching the stuff pop up for God of War. And I'm excited about everything that I'm seeing about the game. I know you have it and planning to play it really, really soon, Daniela. But based on what you've seen, heard, I guess share some thoughts on that, and we'll go from there.
Oh, I am dodging any gameplay spoilers and everything about God of War better than Neo could in any Matrix. That's where I'm at. But just before I tell anybody to please shut up, I've only heard good things. So many amazing good things, and I think somebody was so I don't want to be spoiled on it. Doesn't mean anybody should. I am definitely looking forward to it. The only reason why, the biggest reason I haven't been able to play it is like I've mentioned, I don't know how many times, my PS4 is very finicky. So it's very amusing to me because I was able to turn it on. It was no problem. I was able to download it. I got the digital deluxe. Not the deluxe. I just got the standard edition. I just got the digital one. And I downloaded it. All right, cool. Downloaded, all fine. I went to play it, and then my HDMI port just decides to stop working again.
Oh my goodness.
And I was gonna get the God of War version of the PS4 Pro, except that no pre-sales, no more pre-sales. Like when I decided it a couple weeks ago, or whatever, 3 4 weeks ago, that was a no. And I'm like, okay, my local GameStop didn't have it, so I just accepted that defeat there. Although seeing pictures of everybody who took a picture and got the God of War edition PS4 Pro. Oh, that looks so nice. It does. I think the only thing that I didn't like, so the original pictures that were posted before it released, is that the silver looks so much brighter. Like I wasn't digging that as much, but I love the design on it. And now seeing it, it's actually that silver is a lot darker than I thought it would, like initially thought it was going to
The
be.
shade. Yeah.
And I love it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I hate everybody that has it. If you have it, good for you. I'm so happy.
It looks really good. It's really good.
But my boyfriend he's been playing it, and he's actually currently playing it right now. And he's digging it. And I'm just like, Okay, I'll have a PlayStation to play it on eventually, soon, hopefully.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and everything that I've been checking out, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look at it and then forget this scene and this conversation took place. So when I play it, it's a brand new experience for me. So I'm managing it that way, even though I've seen a couple of things that I really dig about the game, which I don't want to share too much because that's going to ruin the experience for you. But what I will say, what up, Tiger? What I will say is that the game is amazing. The combo system is spectacular. The relationship between Kratos and Atreyu is really dope, and how they collaborate to fight the enemies. That's cool. The what do you call it? The swordsmith guy. What do you call those people?
A blacksmith?
The blacksmith. Thank you. Um, that's a pretty dope thing. And looking at all the things that you could do in terms of equipping for Kratos, that's amazing. So that's all I'll say. So I've seen some dope things, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's currently thinking about playing it. But it's exciting times, and as they always say, it's great year to be a gamer. However that goes.
Isn't every year a great year to be a gamer? I'll be sad
Absolutely,
if there's ever a really bad year for us. Then we'll just be like, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Unless you were excited about Puzzle Fighter and you realize that they're going to stop doing Puzzle Fighter to focus on Dead Rising, then it's not a great year for you.
Then you should actually explore playing other games if it's just that
Right,
one game.
right. But outside of that, it's really dope times right now.
What
Any
mode
final
are you
thoughts
playing it on
before
right now?
which game?
What mode? Get God of War.
I'm not playing it. I'm just watching it.
Oh, you just
I'm a
watching.
super fan. I'm a super
Oh,
fan.
okay.
I'm a super watcher right now. That's why I didn't want to say anything that I've seen to spoil it for the individuals that are playing it. But I just like everything that I'm seeing. Jumping into streams and take a peek here and there. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. But it's going to be in the collection. I don't know if I'm going to wait till it's $6, but it's going to be in the collection.
Yeah, I don't think when I finally get around playing, I don't think I'm gonna stream it. I think I'm just gonna have this as a. I'm gonna experience it as it should be, alone, in the cupboards, where I don't have to focus on anybody else but the game. That's the whole thing. I debated it. I debated streaming it, I debate anything that's a one player game. That's very
Mm,
story driven. I debate streaming it very, very much more so than most games, only because um, usually those games have a lot of story behind them. And when you have to focus on the game, focus on your chat, focus on everything that's happening, you you don't get to be as much a part of the story because your attention is diverted elsewhere. So I want to be
absolutely.
able to enjoy it the way it should be, quietly by myself, wrapped up in a nice warm blanket, and my controller. That's it.
It's wow. That's all I have to say. Wow. Everything about it. But yeah, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I think that was it. We covered quite a bit today.
Yeah, this was absolutely amazing. So, Twitch affiliate status is live. So, guys, if you want to support us in that way, that'd be absolutely amazing. We really do appreciate you for tuning in, checking out, downloading, using Alexa, or playing on Spotify, or just doing the iTunes, Apple Podcast thing. That's really dope too. So that's all I got. Daniela, please close us out.
Yay! Okay, so thank you for watching us live on Twitch or downloading us and listening to us on your favorite catcher. You can definitely add our skill on your Alexa if you happen to have one. You can either go to theshowradio.info/Alexa, or you can be like, hey, Alexa, enable the show radio podcast. Come and hang out with us on Discord as well. Help us create the community that you want to be a part of. If you have any tips or suggestions, let us know. But you can join us on Discord at for our invite link, it's theshowradio.info/Discord. If you have any tips or feedback for us, you can also email us. You can, even if you have any questions about what we talked about on today's show, email us at community@theshowradio.info. Never miss one of our shows by subscribing to us on your favorite podcatchers at theshowradio.info/listen. You can watch us on Twitch live. Follow us there on twitch.tv/theshowradio live. And for all of our notes and everything that we covered today, you can visit us on our website at www.theshowradio.info. And until 399, so close to 400, 399 episodes, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.